And welcome everybody. Welcome back to week 6 of the UPL. Here coverage brought to you by Harrisburg University. I am your host and play-by-play Caster Audio, and joining me tonight, as always, is none other than Mr. Johnny Vincent. We've got a rematch between the Storm and Mirage Esports tonight in an elimination. Harrisburg must take the win tonight if they want to force a tiebreaker to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, the last time these guys met a couple weeks ago, they took it to game 3. We got Silver Scrapes going, and it was a really close series, but Harrisburg got edged out just a little bit, and Mirage was able to pick up that match win. So hopefully this week, the Storm can come back off a win from last week and continue that and go for a tiebreaker here in the upsurge Premier League.
Yeah, and over the season, we've seen a very similar playstyle arise from a lot of Harrisburg's victories, and that has been really a top-focused one, focused around Speedo. And I want to shout out Speedo today. I want to talk about him a little bit because he is performing exceptionally well this split. If you look at some of his stats here, this is across all UPL top laners. He is first in gold per minute generated and kill participation, and he is second in kills per game and CS per minute. And this just goes to show how much resources Harrisburg actually puts towards this player. A lot of the times when they are looking good, it's because they have put a lot of effort into splitting the map and setting Speedo up for these aggressive counter picks and aggressive playstyle inside.
Yeah, we're actually going to look here in a little bit, a couple clips that really demonstrate what Harrisburg is doing to enable Speedo in the top lane and through the Vengeance here. We're going to
Dragoon might bite off a little bit more than he can shoot here. Here comes a grand entrance. He does get a counter-strike onto 2 members, but he's exhausted, and he has to flash away. Here comes the flash from the taunt from Lycamaz, and that's the first blood gifted with a bow over to Speedo.
Robbie was going to really play important here in a second. Oh.
Yeah, and then going on from here, looking at what we see the Grave Zoo here after the play. So this is right after that level 1, and even though they're not able to actually get that red buff and they don't steal anything away, you can still see Zyle go straight back to that top side, steals away the Raptors, and then walks up to the Krugs, and he's just forcing this vertical jungle, and that is something that Harrisburg has done time and time again here. They have made sure that Speedo has lots of room to work with, and this ended up in the Dragoon being really far behind there as the game went on. There is really
and then
no
again, Harrisburg is going to
Mirage
throw their weight to the
contest
top
this.
side of the
Would
map.
not go
You got
well.
Luke
They
coming
did.
up from the
You
bot,
can see Luke
and
just
you can see
covering
Moz
in that
roaming
mid
up
lane,
here
making
too,
sure that that
try
farm
to
is not
zone
going to
and
waste
create that
as
pressure
Lycamaz
of the dive
roams
coming
up
in on
here.
Dragoon.
Ultimate
So
up
it's
in
speed
about
and
5
more
to 10
EXP
seconds,
and goal.
but
So
Dragoon
another really good
playing
play from Harrisburg,
extremely
just trying to isolate the one lane and to suffocate Dragoon out of the match slowly, and it worked very well for them in this game here.
Yeah, and it's no surprise when you look at that play style and you look at how consistent they've been able to make it happen that Speedo is topping the charts here in the UPL and really starting to make a flash. I mean, against some pretty good players too. Like Dragoon is definitely not somebody that I ever thought was gonna get like we said during that match last time they fought. Dragoon on his signature Jax just got absolutely demolished. That is not an easy thing to do, but that's something that Speedo was able to accomplish. And I think a lot of the Harrisburg squad is doing work to make this happen. I mean, we've talked time and time again about Lycamaz and his more supportive champion pool. He plays things like those Gallios, those front lines for his squad, and he's constantly sacrificing his ways, sacrificing his pressure to make sure that they can set up Speedo.
Yeah, I talked to him and he said that he's okay with sacking his lane a little bit if he's able to create that pressure and be able to help his team and be in that supportive role for them. So I want to see how these matchup goes today and see what bans and what picks come out from Mirage and HU to see if they can try to counter each other's play style that they've been playing the past couple weeks here.
Yeah, that's going to be the question. And remember, this is an elimination match for Harrisburg, as we have gone over before. And when your backs are up against the wall like that, you tend to fall on what's comfortable for you. And what's been comfortable for Harrisburg so far this season is the level 1. These guys have gotten first blood in every single game that they have played except for one. And I do believe it was in that Mirage series. But all those first bloods that they have gotten, they have all been before 5 minutes. And we've talked about this before on the stream, but they just have this overcharging aggression, and they always seem to make it happen too. Like, they don't just kind of rush in blindly. That's very well executed. You can tell that they've been practicing this style.
Yeah, they really like the early aggression, trying to get those early leads and then playing off those leads and snowballing those leads into what they want to do later into the game. And I'm assuming that's going to be the same play style that's going to come out here today from HU. And just very excited. Like you said, it's a big elimination match here. And I think they're just going to leave it all on the table. They're going to do what they have to do to win and stay alive in the Upsurge Premier League. And I think they're going to be able to pull this one off. By the way, they've been playing the past couple weeks. They've improved a lot in all their matches. Even though their loss in their matches, those matches have gone the distance, and they're getting really close. So if a little things change here and there, I definitely see that HU is going to be able to secure this and bring home the dub and tie up the bracket.
That's always the hope. This is the one team also that Harrisburg has not been able to take a win off yet. Oh, actually, no, we have ISU, who just kind of wiped the field with the entire group. But if you look at the rest of the league, which I just forget about ISU because they have been so hard to take down, but Harrisburg has been able to at least find their success against TBA and against slipping my mind here. But they haven't been able to find a win against Mirage. Which this is going to be a really big confidence booster going into playoffs. You can come off a really good win last week and then come in here, beat Mirage, give them revenge for the close series that you had in the first time. You're on a 2-series win streak. You're amped up. You're going to playoffs. We're about to head into the draft there. But it does seem like one of the players is having some issues that they are still figuring out. So we will have to wait just a second longer.
Yeah, we're going to get in the draft. The pro draft has already been completed. So when we get into draft, these are picks that already did come through. So if you want, do you want to talk about the draft or you want to wait?
Yeah, so let's talk about, because I don't want to reveal it quite yet. Let's talk about what our expectations of the draft. I haven't even looked at the pro draft yet, so I've
seen a little
blind.
Spoilers. So one thing I want to see out of HU, the one thing from their last match, and we talked about this before, is to ban the Yone.
Yes,
Robbie Bobby on the last 2 wins. He was on that Yone, and he got the snowball and he got his own advantages. The one game he was able to build up his own off a solo kill onto like a Moz, and then he was able to snowball and compile his own lead that way. And then in the following game, through ganks through the mid lane, they were able to set him up, and then he was able to influence the bot side of the map, and then that really pushed the game wide open for Mirage, and they were able to take the whole series there. So I want to see HU ban that champion. In the hands of Robbie Bobby, it's dirty. Should not be legal.
Yeah, and we've seen Moz be this more kind of weak side mid laner where he does often play to just absorb pressure and help out, Speedo or Xyle in the top half. But when we saw Robbie Bob on the Yone, it became a completely different story. Like, Moz was never able to leave the lane. There was just too much pressure. He ended up breaking down. So I agree with you. I would like to see that taken away, but let's see if we'll get our wish as we are into the drafts now.
The first ban coming out from Mirage, they're going to ban out the Camille. Very interesting. That Camille from Speedo, we've seen that's been very deadly. Oh, and the Galio ban as well. Moss has been playing that a lot. Yone ban. Oh, we get it. We get the Yone ban, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, smart adaptations already from both sides. I think that Galio is actually huge. It's such an enabler for the way that Harrisburg like to play. There's no better champ for like a Moz to play that weak mid lane and then roam around the map.
Yeah, he really likes that champion. He plays it very well. It's a very good team fight champion. And then HU, They pick up the Renekton and Sejuani. I think that might be a first so far on the Sejuani for this tournament, at least
So let me
for
tell
Zyle.
you about Zyle Sejuani, because Zyle and I've been had the pleasure of casting for Zyle since the beginning of the year for a collegiate conference, the Midwest Esports Conference, and back in those days, he was known. He likes to dispute this, but he was known as the tank player. The Sejuani and the Zac were his main staples, and people feared them. And this was back in a meta where those picks were very strong, but I love this combination between Speedo and Zyle because it's everything that they want. With Dragoon first picking that Ornn, they say, all right, we don't need to wait for a counter pick now. We just want our strong laners. And that's about as good as you can get. Having that double melee to stack up the Sejuani passive is going to be very impressive.
Yeah, and we talked about how we like Maz, and he plays a lot of the supportive champions. This time he has the Syndra, the assassin. So I'm really excited to see what adaptations the Storm is going to make to play around Maz instead of Maz playing around the team. And Samira as well coming in for Wixie. Last week, Wixie popped off on that champion and really snowballed the game for the team. And then the Pantheon as well from Loop, that aggressive, engaged champion that Zyle talked about, that once when Loop is on those champions, Zyle feels very confident and comfortable when Loop is on the tanky, engaged champions. And it's a very kill heavy lane coming in from HU. So hopefully they're going to be able to snowball their own advantage like they did last week and blow the game open that way.
Yeah, and when I look at this composition for Harrisburg, there are so many options for Zyle to get aggressive here early on. You know Sejuani is more of that late game tank, wants to get a lot of health under her belt before she can start being effective. But a lot of people underestimate how strong her early levels are, specifically the 1 to 3. If you can get a red buff into a cheeky gank, that passive of her stacks up quick and it punches hard. And when I look at um, the CC assistance for Harrisburg, even in those first couple of levels. The bot lane, you've got the point and click stun from the Pantheon. Scatter the Weak isn't too terribly hard to set up onto an immobile set in the mid lane. You've got Gap Closer plus point and click CC with the Redacted. Like, there is just, this is a jungler's paradise here for Sejuani.
Yeah, a lot of nice lanes that he's going to be able to gank. A lot of setup in those lanes. But one thing we haven't talked about is the Lissandra bot coming in for Mirage with the Rakan. I don't think I've ever seen a Lissandra bot. I'm not sure how that matchup goes. Uh, Maybe more of a defensive style uh, carry in the bot lane. Not really sure, but that's a very
It's
interesting pick.
it is so strange. I have not really seen a lot of that either. One thing that Mirage do have with this composition is incredible team fight capabilities. And I think that's mainly what they're drafting here for. They're saying, okay, we've already kind of given up on the laning phase, but we're just going to group up early enough and use the fact that our champions are just inherently strong in skirmishes and try to fight you out of the laning phase and the laning phase as fast as possible. And Lissandra, she does offer a lot of push in that bottom lane. She's got, a little bit of defensive capabilities. Like you said, you've got that freeze when the Pantheon wants to go in. You have an escape tool with the claw. So I am interested to see how this turns out, because this is Mirage, to me, taking a very defensive standpoint here already in game number 1. They're really putting a lot of their eggs in Hiyami's basket as being the main threat on this squad and the late game insurance. Although, as we've seen in the past, it has been Robbie Bob who was the one at least the Storm had trouble with last time these two teams met.
If Robbie Bobby is able to compile a lead here on the set can really run away with the game too. He can burst out and do a lot of damage depending on what build path he decides to take. Ornn's going to always be that tanky meatball in the top lane. And then, like we talked about, that bot lane, very safe, CC heavy for those team fights. So I feel like, though, the damage is kind of lacking. If Mirage is a little bit far behind, they're not going to have a lot of damage coming out. But on the opposite side from HU, they have those couple different really damage heavy. You have the Renekton, that's the bruiser, and you have the Syndra in the mid lane that's going to burst and do a lot of damage, as well with Wixion Samira. So HU has a lot of different options of how they want to play, and I feel like a lot of their compositions that they do draft they leave up multiple options for them to play through. And while they don't always play through all of them, they usually play toward the top side. They do leave themselves the ability to play through every lane.
All right. Well, we're going to be taking a short break as these players get ready for game number 1. It's do or die here for the Storm, and we're here to watch every glorious moment of it. Don't go anywhere. Game will be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Game 1 between Harrisburg University Storm and Mirage Esports Week 6 of the UPL, and Harrisburg's last chance to pick up their 3rd win and make a run into the playoffs. It all comes down to this, and it all comes down to the level 1 is the big question on our minds right now, because Harrisburg, I feel like they've come out with so many cheeky level 1s. They have that double mobility with the top jungle that we've seen from them use occasionally, but it's going to be pretty standard this time.
Yeah, we get a standard line of scrimmage from both teams, both defensive wards on the Raptors for both sides. Maybe HU is going to go for another late invade like they did a couple games ago, but so far it looks like they're all just chilling. They're going to start their own camps, not do anything spicy.
Yep, and I mean, this is generally pretty smart from them. They don't want to give or risk in this really important match that level 1 going wrong. As much as it has gone right for them before, there's always that chance of, you screw up and you throw the game away for yourself. But here we see Zyle starting on the top side of the map, and I'm interested to watch where he paths this game. Like we said before, he very often likes to try to force that vertical jungling. Obviously, Kiami starting on his blue as well means that Zyle will not be able to do that. But how much pressure does he put into this top side of the map here early on?
Yeah, it looks like he's going to do red-blue Gromp and then look for a gank or look for the crab. On the other side, Kiame is going to do a full clear on Graves. Graves is really good at clearing out his jungle. He's a power farmer. He wants to get those camps. He wants to build his lead through a little bit of ganks in early play, but mostly through hard farming. So we're gonna see that coming out for him. I think both junglers might meet up on the bot side here. Zyle might try to find a gank or an opening here, but the wave is not really in their favor.
You see both junglers starting to finish up their first clear, and all is quiet. Speedo did get a shove in onto the room, but it does seem like the wave is just frozen against him now. Moz and Robbie Bob are fighting back and forth, although like Moz is low on mana, he's been able to chunk set out down to half HP. As I finished saying that sentence, he's almost healed up all the way because that's what Set can do. But does get a good bold rack.
We saw Speedo when he crashed that wave in the top lane. He did place a ward in the top blue side of Mirage, and that's a lot of good information that HU got. They see that the Gromp is clear, they see that the blue is cleared, so now they know that Hyome has to be on the bot side. So now HU's bot lane can play a little bit more safer until they see him again. So now tracking him is going to be a little bit easier. And now looks like they might be setting up a dive here onto Dragoon as Style is walking up, but he just spotted on a ward.
See, it is Speedo that's going to take up the turret first. They get the stun off, but Speedo has to get out. I don't think they intended to have him tank that up at the beginning of it, but they do get Dragoon's flash out, so now opened up for a possible regain.
Yeah, that's all you can really hope for too, right? Like you got something out of that play. You got the flash and the Orin. You're able to return gank that now. You're able to make that play. Speedo is gonna have his flash and his teleport still as well. All summoners in the top lane. Now it's just the micro advantage that Zao was able to get, and now is Zao going to keep building off that lead and continue to put that pressure onto Dragoon and help Speedo become a big crocodile, big man.
Yeah, that was stunted a little bit though, as Dragoon is able to stop Speedo's back, so he will have to wait before he's able to go back. And I mean, this only benefits Ornn, keeping your opponent in the lane, because you can, you know, obviously build your items while still in the lane. Speedo will finally get that base off and go to teleport.
Yep, TP advantage goes in favor of Mirage, so if they want to make a bot lane play here, relatively soon they might be able to get a level 6 play going with Dragoon. But this is a huge wave crashing for Speedo as they're scrapping, but I think it's just little trades.
I actually
Hyame
love
is here.
that from Speedo. We'll see. He does have to
That's
flash
fine.
away as Hyame has shown up. Down to about 250 HP. There's still a rather large minion wave here about to crash down, and nobody around to help him.
Yeah, Speedo's all alone. There's no teleports from any other laner here to come support him. But they're not going to pressure the dive. They're just going to take that back timer that they got Dragoon. And Speedo's going to pick up that farm, putting him 13 CS ahead at 5.5 minutes already. So it's a nice lead.
Yeah, and we've only really seen that one gank from Zyle, blowing that flash from Dragoon, but already Speedo, just with his laning prowess, has been generating leads for himself. Down the bot lane, things are going rather smoothly as well. Wixie is up just a few CS. They do find a really good chunk onto the Rakan. Does go in, gets the knockup, but Wixie, the damage has been done. The heal has been burnt. Ignite out of loop, and Jonathan will be going back to base. It makes a lot of pressure for Harrisburg to potentially look for something.
Unfortunately, Zal is in the top side, so they're not able to call it like collapse on this. An interesting summoner spell I didn't notice until just now. Hyame has Cleanse on the Graves. He has Cleanse Smite. He doesn't have the flash or ignite that sometimes the Graves brings for even earlier pressure. That's really interesting to see.
Yeah, it starts to make sense when you look at all of the engage options on the side of Harrisburg, especially when we talked about Hyame being this main source of late game insurance and saying, hey, if all else fails, put your gold in Hyame, and put a big beefy front line in front of him. He wants to make sure that he can stay safe from things, you know, like the point and click CC coming out from both Renekton and the Pantheon. Zyle, though, he's laid a trap here on the top side. See if he's actually the one who gets sprung on. Speedo does find the CC. There's the chain. Dragoon already down to half HP, but Hyame has joined the fight, and he's gotten first blood. A whole ton of damage dumped on the Harrisburg top lane. Zyle has to walk away too, but Robbie Bobby's not going to let him out so easily. Uses the showstopper. Walks away with a cool swagger. 2 quick kills over to Mirage.
Yeah, Hyame was there for the counter gank for Mirage for Dragoon. He was there for him. So Harrisburg blew all their things on Dragoon, and then Dragoon, being this tanky meatball he is on Orange, just popped his ult, got the CC knockup, and they were able to burst down Speedo and get him killed, and then that flash coming away from Zyle to try to escape Hyame and Dragoon as well. So nice counterplay from Mirage, and they were able to turn that flashless Orin into an advantage in this case, and they were able to to really counter that gank. They really read that one, I think.
Yeah, it's so big for Mirage here to stay ahead of the gold curve, make sure that they're getting those items and they can start to force those early team fights. I'm looking at this Ocean Drake down here. When you got this kind of composition set up, it would be really beneficial for Mirage to start those timers ticking. Say, wanting to get that soul point, that guaranteed 5v5 as early as you can. But it has been pretty even pressure for the two squads. Neither bot lane really budging. Both the junglers have definitely had a preference for that top lane.
Overall, a really slow game. We usually see Harrisburg liking to play that very aggressive style, and thus far we haven't really seen that. It's more of a sit back, farm it up, farm the lanes, and chill out for a bit, let them scale. So the one time we did see that come out of HU, it didn't really work out that well. Loop with the flash stun on the Robbie Bobby.
Moz does not have scatter the loop. He cannot follow up on that stun, and Robbie Bobby will walk away. Meanwhile, Dragoon tanking up an entire turret wave and almost single-handedly taking down Speedo in the process. You can see all that resistances Dragoon has built up has made him a brick wall that Speedo does not have the means to take down.
Yeah, play in the mid lane transitioned as well into that Rift Herald for HU. So Blue did blow his flash, ended his ignite. They were able to get that Rift Herald with that pressure, and Wixie alone in the bot lane. I believe he was on a back timer as well, so it really worked out overall for HU. Very safe play that they made, and now they're starting to pressure this top side here. Probably going to drop Rift and get plates, and give that gold to Speedo and try to help him bounce back a little bit and get ahead.
Yeah, Dragoon has to teleport if he wants to try and join, but he knows how dangerous that is. Meanwhile, Mirage are going to use this pressure to grab themselves that first Ocean Drake, and here comes the engagement. Lissandra over the wall. Luke has nowhere to go, and Jonathan will pick up the kill for that one. Meanwhile, Harrisburg, they took down those 2.5 plates. Shelly is dropped, and they will pick up first turret. Mirage will be trying to trade that one back, but there are still 4 plates to chew through. Like a
Moz in a bad position.
Bit of a scuffle, but he has Zyle behind him to back him up. And he's running at Robbie Bob. Neither of them really have
Wixie
here. Oh, Wixie! This is not really where you want to be. 1v3, try to defend the turret. Kiyami is able to find the kill. Luke comes in, but it's a little bit too late.
With a teleport from Dragoon as well.
Yeah, just to make sure that nothing else is able to go over to Harrisburg. Does call the horn. He doesn't able to find it.
All the members for both teams are on the bot side of the map right now. Maybe another fight's gonna break out, or there's just gonna go their own ways, find their own paths.
Yeah, Wixie still waiting to come back from base. It was really interesting that he decided to go in and save that turret. Had to blow his flash and his cleanse, and still went down. It's a bit of an oopsie, but good job for Mirage to be able to punish Harrisburg's tendencies towards the top lane and create an advantage for themselves on the bot side of the map. And the goal's going exactly where they want to. It's into the pockets of Hyami. It's now 2-0-2, has a 20 CS lead on this Graves. He's already finished that warrior enchantment, and looks like he's going towards a Maw Meliters.
Yeah, he's going toward the Maw as well as the Kindle Gems in his inventory, so he's probably going to get the Black Cleaver as well, which would be a pretty nice pickup, seeing that probably Zyle and Speedo are going to build armor items. I just want to point out, Wixie, I don't think that was really good for him there in the bot lane to walk up. There's no reason he should walk up there. You know your jungler's on the top side. You know that Kiame was just in the bot side. You're all alone. You're in a very easy position to get dived through the Lissandra and the Rakan. CC. Oh, flashing from Robbie Bobby.
Yeah, cleanse and flash immediately from like a Moz. It is going to be Summoner's Spell for Summoner's Spell. Now Moz will have to play a bit safer for the time being. Harrisburg is posturing around the
Moz is a couple CS behind too. It's not a huge lead coming in from Robbie Bobby besides the kill, but I'd like to see Moz really starting to carry this game. I feel like he's going to be the one to have to come ahead and pull the team up. Leap looks for a little something, a little Scrabble, but nothing's going to really come from it.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of magic resist built up quite yet for the side of Mirage. But I would say that you are right. Speedo has been able to get himself a small lead. You can see that Black Cleaver completed. He is about 900 gold up. So despite the fact that he hasn't gotten kills, he did take that entire turret up on the top side. But you also see like a Moz a little bit ahead of Robbie Bob right now. He's only about 100 gold up. Hasn't finished that first item quite yet. So I would still, my eyes are still going to be on Speedo here for a couple of minutes, but we do get to see Like Moz finally on more of a carry-oriented champion, one that is not just going to be sacking waves and gold to try to set up Speedo, but he can actually have some agency as this game goes on.
They did end up switching both bot laners, both teams, Mirage and Harrisburg. They put their bot laners in the mid lane, and as this next Infernal Drake is going to spawn here in a minute, they might try to look for a bot play, seeing that the bot lane for Mirage is basing right now, so they're going to have a really good timer here, and they're going to look to execute on Robbie Bobby, but there might be a read coming in, so Robbie Bobby's backing up.
Yep, smartly realizes that things are a little bit too quiet. Tiami will try to chase Xayah away. They have a little bit of a fight over those Raptors. And 14, just shy of 15 minutes here now. Gold is dead even. Although Mirage have been able to pick up 4 kills, it's that first tower as well as some small CS advantages that are keeping Harrisburg in this one. And this, really, I'm trying to figure out who's going to come out ahead here in this mid game. I feel like if a big fight breaks out around one of these objectives, it can really start to swing the game, because these two teams still trying to complete those first items. Some players have them, some are still working on components. But it's just on a teeter-totter. Both teams are just so close to breaking this one wide open. It is going to be the second dragon, though, going over to Mirage.
HU, they gave that second dragon too, which I think is okay. Right? They don't need to find it. It looks like they're trying to play for a more scaling at this point, or just not for those dragons that they're playing elsewhere on the map. They have a lot of their players on the top side, so I'd like to see HU pick up this second rift here, and being able to crack open that mid lane tower and get more gold into them. Ooh, it's a solo kill comes in for Moz.
I don't think Robbie Bob expected that damage to come through. I don't know if the W was down, but Like Moz has the damage even without the Luden's Echo. And now it's a 1v1 against Tiami. He has the cleanse, but no flash. He dances and dodges his way to victory, taking half of Tiami's health bar with him. Can he get a wave now? Challengers number 3 and 4. The cleanse is blown, but the damage is there. What can Speedo do to avenge his fallen ally? Pops the Dominus, but Tiami's going to use that cleanse to get away. Now, Rakan taking up the turret. He slices. And he's going to flash forward. He's going to get the CC, and Speedo, he finds 1 kill. They're looking for more. The flash forward, but Luke doesn't have the distance on that spear. Speedo finds the Q. Can he get the last auto attack? Shut down under Graves, and he dices his way to safety. A triple kill for Harrisburg's top laner.
That's really huge coming in from Harrisburg. Off that solo kill onto Moz, Kiame was there, tries to pick off Moz in return, but Moz is able to live long enough for that teleport to come in and have Kiame in a bad position, as well as the bot lane for Mirage. And then with Speedo being a nice Renekton with a couple items or a nice components, he was able to find that 2v3, 1v3, and really just snowball his advantage even more. He just based and bought almost the entire worth of Blade of the Ruined King. So huge. This crocodile, that's a big gator right now. So Mirage needs to be careful of that guy.
And this is going to make it so much easier for Speedo to play this side lane. You can see Dragoon now starting to build towards the MR. You build for the lane first. You got to get that armor against the Renekton. But then Dragoon wants to start going towards that Abyssal Mask and look for the team fight capabilities. That's not going to help you against the Renekton that just finished that Blade of the Ruined King. Now, I'm starting to worry about who can actually match Speedo in the side lanes. be, because currently sitting now 3,000 gold ahead. He is the gold lead for Harrisburg.
I'm not sure who picked up the rift during all of that. I'm not sure if they used it. Maybe HU did. I'm assuming HU did, since they had the members on the top side. They probably dropped it mid and got that tower. I'm not sure if you caught that or not.
No, I did not. I was too hyped up on Speedo's
on that bot. Yeah, me too. I'm assuming that's what happened, since that tier 1 is down for Mirage and the rift is no longer on the map. And Zyle was in the top side. I'm assuming logical conclusion there. Yeah, A plus B equals C. Speedo is able to zone Dragoon off this wave, and that's going to be the 3rd tower that's coming in for Harrisburg. Moss?
He's 1v2.
Might be in a sticky situation.
He is going to flash away to safety. He has the ultimate available. And see Robbie Bob got chunked down. Like a Moz is starting to do a considerable amount of damage, but it's going to be a trade here. One turret in top lane, or push here in the mid lane. Luke tries to dive in, but Wixie smoke screened away. Harrisburg, can they pick up this turret to trade for the one they lost? They will. It will be the retreat now from both sides, looking for the reset.
Maybe, hopefully a reset. Speedo's looking to steal this red buff. I think he should just run off it. They got a lot out of all those plays that just happened. There's a lot of influx of gold that came in from Harrisburg through the two towers they got in the mid lane, the bot tower that they got. A lot of gold swaying in the side of Harrisburg's favor, but it's only a 3k, 4k lead, and it's very comebackable for Mirage if they're able to get these towers. The game, I was kind of questioning, or I was very confused. I was unsure. There you go. I was unsure how this game would turn out, but off that bottom play, off that solo kill from Like a Moz, the game really broke open a lot for Harrisburg as his 3rd. Drake is going to spawn, which is going to be the mountain. We're going to have a mountain soul this game, which if HU is able to get, I feel like that's going to be really big for them.
Yeah, and this is the situation that composition-wise Mirage wants to be in. They live for these 5v5 skirmishes where they can just wreak havoc in these tight areas. There's 3,000 gold behind, and here comes the fight with Showstopper into the back line. Robbie Bob is just getting obliterated, though. Luke goes down in return, but Wixie has fallen in the back line to Hiyami, who is just going nuts here on the rest of Harrisburg. A double kill for the jungler already. Speedo is limping away. Hiyami pops the cleanse just for the burst of movement speed. The flash from the Rakan and the shutdown. 3 kills for Hiyami in that fight.
As well as the 450 gold shutdown. That feels really nice. They're going to be able to get that bot tower, and now they're going to run and grab their 3rd Drake. That puts them on soul point at 20 minutes. So here in 5 minutes, that's soul point. I wanna say that Harrisburg might be able to fight for that soul point, but currently the way things are, they might not be able to. That team fight broke out. Really good ultimate came in from Robbie Bobby that brought Speedo crashing down on top of Moz and made him flash away, or on top of Wixie rather, and Wixie had to flash away. So it was a very disorganized fight out of HU, which played very well in the hands of Mirage. So now it's just the follow-up. Oh, they're starting the ban.
This is interesting. Harrisburg coming off that reset. They're just trying to sneak this one away. It's just a awareness check. Do Mirage suspect that this is happening? Some movements are already coming through. Pings are coming down, and that blue ward will spot it out. And Harrisburg will say, okay, fair enough. You spotted us, and we'll back off.
Yeah, they don't really lose anything for that either, right? It's worth it. Well, if they don't check it, they get a Baron. If they check it, they just run away. So, yeah, I like that play out of Harrisburg, Like you said, a map check, an awareness check, so.
Yeah, we see more and more teams starting to do that now. Since the super popular one, I remember in the playoffs of the LCS where TSM were up like 6,000 gold, or no, this was actually at Worlds. TSM were up 6,000 gold, and they just let a Baron and a Dragon go in like the span of 30 seconds because they weren't paying attention. And since then, I've seen a lot more people like use the term just awareness check and highlight the benefits to making those plays where you don't necessarily lose anything by starting up those big objectives, but as soon as you get that information that hey, the enemy team is watching, you can just back off.
The game is still dead even. I think the advantage is in Mirage's favor since they have that soul win condition about to be up here in 3 minutes.
Ooh, look at this though. Speedo, he's being pinched on. Hyami behind him. He knows that something is going on. He's pinging around. He hasn't caught Hyami on vision yet. But it will look like he's going to back off. Hyami just able to slink away. Is he going to get spotted? Speedo, he found him. He dashes forward. Pops the Dominus. It's going to be a 1v2, but Luke is ulting in.
Coming in.
So much damage from Hyami, but he's CC'd before he can finish off the kill. The Ornhorn's going to find the execute, though. Dragoon now, he has to run. It's going to be a 1v3 soon. The rest of Mirage is trying to take a turret in the mid lane. Dragoon is just buying as much time as he can. Wixie pops the ultimate. It barely makes a dent. Dragoon is just a raid boss. He has so much HP. And meanwhile, like Amaz, he's just trying to defend this mid lane tier 1. He's a 1v3 for it. Robbie Bob easily going to take up that tower with the face breaker, and now it looks like some pings coming down to the top side. They are just trying to run out.
Look for the chase.
Harrisburg won it.
Loop spotted on the ward. Oh, he's able to get the base off. Really good play for Mirage. Maz was almost able to defend that, but the flash from Robbie Bobby, or I believe Robbie Bobby flashed in. He was able to get his ult off, and that really started that chain of CC that came in that the bot lane of Mirage has between the Rakan and the Lissandra that really just kept Maz stuck and locked underneath his own tower. So good counterplay for Mirage. They're able to find something in return for the double kill that did go on the bot side of the map. So I like seeing that. It keeps them in the game more. It keeps the game even. And I think it keeps Mirage ahead. I'd like to say that Mirage, while they don't have the gold lead, they definitely have the advantage currently in this game.
Especially with that soul core coming up here. Now just 1 minute until the mountains will be on the table. And despite Harrisburg being 2,000 gold ahead, I mean, they were 3,000 ahead at that last fight. But this comp, once again, from Mirage is deadly in team fights. You've got so much utility with the Glacial Augment Lissandra having the Spooky Ghost and the Hextech GLP. It gives you those giant AoE slows. You've got the Ornhorn. It just... Fighting in these narrow corridors is a dream come true for Mirage, and they have complete control right now over the river. They've swept out all the vision. They've set up pinks. It's just the scuttle there for Harrisburg, but even that is less effective because we're on the Mountain Rift map, and that scuttle can't actually see into the pit.
I like to see HU kind of go for a little something here before the Drake spawns. Maybe try to get an ult or two out of Mirage, because those ults and those team fights are so huge for Mirage. But it looks like they're going to shove this mid wave, which I like. But this Drake is coming up here in 6 seconds, and Mirage is definitely going to be able to burst it down. Not sure what HU is going to do here.
On a flank here. Mirage knows that Speedo is here. They does still have the position. Zyle is going to find the Rakan. Showstopper back into the team fight. Wixie has already gone down. Robbie Bob just has too much damage. Luke is able to trade one back onto Lissandra. Zyle is running for his life. The jungler has fallen. A double kill for Robbie Bob. He doesn't need to be on one of those traditional AP carries. Give him a set and he'll do the same damn thing. Harrisburg get blown out of the water, and a Mountain Soul will go over to Mirage.
Yeah, I think that was another really disorganized fight, and that ult from Robbie Balby was able to help keep it that way. You saw that Speedo and Zyle were pretty much solo fighting a couple of team members as the rest were diving the back line on to Maz, Wixie, and Luke was kind of doing his own thing there. So really good team fight coming in from Mirage. They were able to pick up that Mountain Soul, so they're going to get that, which is really going to help them on their tanks, especially Dragoon. Yame, he's going to love that shield. Robbie Bobby is going to be very impactful for him. And even Lissandra. Lissandra she's a pretty beefy mage. She's not just a burst mage. She's a tanky, she's a bruiser. I feel like she's an AP bruiser. So really good for her as well. Right now, Mirage is exactly where they want to be in this game. Now they're going to be able to really climb this gold lead back and really gain a gold lead through getting these towers that they didn't have already. the gold was even for so long, but HU had towers. That's how they had that gold. So there's still standing gold on the map for Mirage, and they're going to be able to pick up those little paychecks as Zal might be looking for something.
Some damage, but here comes the engage from Mirage. Teleport coming in behind, but Luke in a 1v2 is already gone down. The TP will be answered here. Dragoon is going to enter the fight. Speedo in a 1v3. Like a Maw is putting on some damage, but Speedo just already gotten down. Harrisburg is just falling apart. And this might be it for the Storm. Game number 1 could end right here. Zyle doing everything he can to just buy some time. But it's not going to be enough. Double kill again for Robbie Bob. Speedo, the last remaining member. But he's not going anywhere as long as Lissandra has something to say about it. Another team fight win. The clean ace for Mirage Esports. They're going to be picking up the Baron. And it looks like they're going to be taking game 1 with them.
Yeah, you called it earlier that Mirage's team comp, what they wanted to do was, and that's what they really excelled at this game over HU, was the team fights. They're going to be able to get the Baron here. They're going to be able to break this inhibitor open, and then they're going to recall, reset, spend that gold, and I'd assume come back and wipe the game up from there, clean it up really easily. I don't think HU is going to be able to come back from this kind of deficit. So I want to talk about the composition of HU. This is a composition this style of composition that we've seen them play, I believe for the second time now, and both were kind of the same result. I feel like they're uncomfortable on it. I'm not sure if they really. I feel like they really excel at the aggressive level 1 early game play style, and they weren't able to do that this game. They weren't able to solely play through Speedo in the top lane like they normally do. So I want to know if HU's going to kind of build that same composition again next game, or if they're going to try and fall back to their things that have been working for them in that aggressive early style.
Yeah, Dragoon, one of those top laners that has historically been a tough nut to crack. A lot of teams that have a top-focused playstyle struggle to go up against Mirage simply because when you put Dragoon on something like an Ornn, he's just so good at soaking pressure. And then you couple that with the fact that Harrisburg, when like a Moz is playing, typically goes for a more supportive style. I mean, we see him on the Syndra this time, and he's having, a pretty good performance. He's up 60 CS over the set, but it doesn't matter if you give him a good matchup. Robbie Bob is just amazing, and he will team fight his way all over you, no matter how far you put him down in lane. Now here's the engage already. Wykamaz has gone golden. He tries to flash out, but Lissandra has his number. Mirage, they picked up a mop, and they're wiping the floor with a storm. Diving Nexus towers like they just aren't there. Mirage, 1 member left to take down. They're going to pad their stats, and they're going to take game number 1 in this best of 3. Harrisburg now 1 game away from your UPL season ending.
Yeah, that's not a storm, dude. That's a little raindrop. It's not much of a storm there. Hopefully they're going to be able to come back in game 2 and be able to complete the reverse sweep onto Mirage and keep this Upsurge dream alive to go further into the tournament out of the group stage. But yeah, that game there's a lot of highlights and a lot of things that I think HU were able to accomplish. And there was just a few minor slip-ups that ended up happening, a few unfortunate team fights that really swung the pendulum in the favor of Mirage. Yeah, I want to see how they're going to come back. I want to see if they're going to stay with the same composition. They had Maz on that carry, but I feel like they really didn't play through him. He was able to. He had his own lead. I feel like he was able to get a lead. He had a 50 CS lead by the end of the game, but HU didn't really play through him. So I would have liked to see HU kind of support Maz like he supports the team in this situation, and maybe that could have changed something. Put more resources into him and allow him to really be the carry in this event.
Yeah, I think a lot of what HU struggled there in that game was ways to close out kills on Mirage, because both teams have similar goals in these team fights where there's a lot of divers, and the goal of a diver is to blow up the backline. But for Mirage, there's not really a backline there for you to blow up. I mean, Rakan and Lissandra are so defensive and so hard to lock down by the time, that you finally take them down, your backline has just been destroyed. Wixie was just getting blown up in all these fights by the Lissandra and the Graves. And you saw how long it took to kill Dragoon when he was isolated in the side lane. 4 members wailing down on him, and it still lasted like 15, 20 seconds. It's so much harder for Harrisburg to do that in that team fight when their backline is getting disrupted. So it was a really interesting comp. I loved the comp from Mirage. I think whoever put that together, got to give props to their coach. It was brilliant. But we are going to be heading into an intermission as we get ready for game number 2. So don't go anywhere. The series is coming right back.
Big game, big game.
Welcome back, everybody. Game number 2 between Harrisburg University and Mirage. It's Upsurge Premier League Week 6. I am Audio, and joining me is none other than my co-caster, Johnny Vincent. Harrisburg took a hard loss last game. We're looking for a bounce back. What do we want out of this draft, Johnny?
What I'd like to see is more aggressiveness coming out of the jungle for Zyle, more playmaking able to happen early game. He wasn't able to get a whole lot going there on the Sejuani, so I'd like to see him play more of an aggressive jungler and play through those lanes like he normally does. The Renekton coming in again in the top lane, and then the Vel'Koz coming out for like a Maz in the mid lane into Robbie Bobby's Rise. So that's an interesting pick. I think that's a first pick for the series.
This has been a very break from the norm in the mid lane for Harrisburg. Up until this point, they've always had Heike Savage be more of the carry player, the LeBlancs, the Lucian. When like a Maz is in, it's the the Galio, it's the Urgot, it's these more frontline champions. And that's the story that we've been setting up around him here on the stream as well. He's trying to flip that script. He's showing us today that he's willing to pull out those hard carries, the Syndra, now the Vel'Koz. And going up against this Rise, I mean, it's going to be a bit of a skill matchup. Harrisburg already have some pretty nasty siege potential. But obviously that all lies on hitting your skill shots.
Yeah, I'd like to see Harrisburg play through Maz now. He's on another potential carry champion. He's on a very strong mage. I would like to see them play through him as the draft is getting reset from a bug, it looks like.
Just some client bugs. You know, we're all used to that here in League of Legends. Riot, please fix your client. I know it's not that easy, but yeah, we've seen most of the composition up to this point. Up on the top side, we once again see Speedo go to that Renekton. This time he's going to have the Lilia with him. That's not exactly the dive combo that we think of. And going up against the Gangplank, it doesn't feel like there's an easy path for Harrisburg to get Speedo off to the start that they normally look for.
Yeah, you're not going to really be able to gank him, the Gangplank, the Dragoon early, pre-6. It's going to be very hard. There's just not a whole lot of CC through Renekton and Lilia early. You have the Renekton's W, his son, but then he can just cleanse that with his orange and run away. I'd like to see them set up an early dive with building up a huge wave early off level 1, zone Dragoon off the wave a little bit, let the wave build up for Harrisburg, and then crash that wave into Dragoon's tower and dive him and get that lead that way. Get him the CS advantage, get him the gold lead that Speedo needs early, so then Speedo can really start pulling HU along this game, and then hopefully play it through Maz as well, and help him get jumpstart and help him carry the game as well. Like a Maz he plays a lot of the supportive characters. We talk about it all the time, but he's definitely capable of carrying games, and I'd like to see HU support that and support him in doing that.
Absolutely, and he's on a champion to do it this time. The Vel'Koz, I mean, it's such a feast or famine champion. It's the epitome of skill oppression. I won't say epitome, but it's a really good champion to express your mechanical skill. You know, there's the champs out there that no matter, you know, what, even if you make some small technical mistakes, you're still going to be fine. Looking at you, Ornn, that can do whatever he wants and still live for 40 seconds against 4 people. But then you've got champions like the Vel'Koz, who, if you hit your abilities, you're God, and you're going to do an insane amount of damage. All that true damage pumped in there as well. But if you don't hit your abilities, you're not going to do anything. You're just throwing out around those wet void noodles that he calls an auto attack. So this is gonna be, you know, the platform now for Maz to change our mind, to change the perspective around him and say, you know, I have these hard carries in my back pocket and I'm not afraid to bring them out.
Maz is going to bust out the protractor here. He's going to pull out some geometry with his Vel'Koz, and he's going to set up some nice plays here. Again, back in the draft, they're going to quickly man through and pick again. Again, this draft has already been completed through pro drafts. That's why they're just picking the champions order of lane. Coming down to the bot side, I'm going to spoil it a little bit here. A little bit of spoilopes. Mirage picked up Poppy, a very
Ooh.
interesting support pick, and I believe they picked it just to counter Loop's Pantheon, right? Or just Loop in general. Loop likes playing a lot of hard engaged champions.
Lame.
So the Poppy with her, I believe it's her W, she has a wall up that doesn't allow things to go into them. You can't go in, you can't come out, you're stuck in that zone. So that's going to be a really interesting mechanic throughout this game against Loop and some of the other engages from Harrisburg. And I'd like to see how this bot lane plays out. Last week we saw that Harrisburg's bot lane, Loop and Wixie, they were able to snowball and compile their own advantage in the 2v2 alone. And between that lane getting its own snowball rolling, and then the top side, they were able to gain their own advantage everywhere. And so I was able to sit back and chill. If HU was able to do that again this week and this game, HU can run away with this game. I'd like to see that happen. I believe in the HU's bot lane, between Loop and Wixie, they're both very skilled players. I definitely think they can take advantage of the bot lane of Mirage and win that straight up 2v2.
I agree. Wixie, when he gets the resources, has proven to be an absolute nightmare for the squad. And that's a thing that I'm loving more and more as we get to watch Harrisburg and watch, how they play, is it feels like anybody on the team can step up, especially now that we've seen Moz pick up some more of these carries. We've already seen great carry performances out of Speedo and Wixie. We've seen Zyle find success on some more aggressive things like the Graves, like the Lilia. Loop and his Pantheon is a threat to be feared. So on a good day, or if these players are having a good day, the threat can come from absolutely anywhere. And that's a scary thing to have for your squad, at least for the opponents.
Yeah, and even with that interview a couple weeks back with Loop, we asked him about the Samira pick. We asked him, hey, why did you guys leave that open? Was that a pick issue? Was that plays you made issue? Is that gameplay issue? And what he said was it was a gameplay issue. So I'm taking that mindset and I'm applying it to the same picks that they picked up again, between the Renekton, the Samira, and the Pantheon. The team is confident in those picks. They don't think it was a pick error. They don't think it was a champion error. They think it was a gameplay error. Where did they go wrong in the game that led them to that defeat? So they're going into this game still confident in the champions they're picking, and I really like that. They're staying to their guns. They're keeping the same style of composition that they had last game. It didn't really work out for them. Hopefully this game they can alter some slight decisions that will really help them take this composition that they've crafted, this different style of composition that they have, and bring home the W, bring us to game 3 so we can play the Silver Scrapes and hopefully tie up this bracket with 3-3 and go to playoffs.
The script demands it. We need Silver Scrapes here.
We need it.
Let's flip tracks a little bit, though, and talk about Mirage for a second. Looking down the line, you've got the Gangplank, the Rise, the Senna. This screams late game to me all across the board. This team definitely wants to have that farm till 40 mentality. Don't expect Mirage. They don't play that way. I don't think they're going to just snooze fest us. But that is what this composition wants. And I'm a little bit worried about Harrisburg's ability to increase the pace of the game because there's a lot of counters to specifically the aggression that Harrisburg has with, the Gangplank oranges, the Poppy blocking the movement abilities, Rise having CC, I'm sure he'll take phase rush, the speed boost. It just feels once again, just like last game, we're in a scenario where Mirage might just be too damn tough to kill.
Yeah, it worked out for them last game with Dragoon. Like we saw, it took how long was it? Like 15, 20 seconds to kill him
For
with
4 people.
For 4 people, like that's insane. This time Dragoon is going to be on Gangplank. When he scales into the late game, if he can find a barrel combination onto Wixie, onto Moz, he's going to blow them out of that fight. They're going to have to run and reset. So those barrels are going to be very fun and interesting to watch later on in the game if they're able to scale up. Graves, like you mentioned, He's a power farmer. He's going to scale really well. The Rise, insane scaling. Senna, infinite scaling with the souls. Poppy, great utility. She's going to scale and become a little tiny meatball with a huge hammer. Again, they have a very good scaling and a very good team fight team. And the way they played last game through those team fights was very, very well. So I'm assuming they're going to do the same kind of style and the same thing. They were able to build up those dragons early. I'd like to see them kind of go for that same thing again, build up the dragons, get that advantage snowballing for them in their favor. And then when those fights break out for those dragons, just wipe the floor with HU. Like that's what Mirage is looking to do here. They have a lot of good damage in a tight corridor here. The Senna, the Gangplank barrels, the Rise AoE, the Graves damage. Very good team fights in the jungle, and I'd like to see that come out of Mirage, and I'd like to see HU play through those different lanes, through those side lanes, and build their advantage that way.
Well, it's a last stand for the Harrisburg University Storm. Send them your energy. They're going to need it here in this elimination match against Mirage. We're going to do a short intermission. Don't go anywhere. You aren't going to want to miss this. Welcome back, Storm fans. Game number 2, week 6 of the UPL match between Harrisburg and Mirage. It is do or die for the squad here. They need to pick up this win so they can head on for a chance to win this series so they can head on for a chance to get a tiebreaker into playoffs. It's a long road ahead of them, but it needs to start right here and right now.
Another level 1 coming out from HU. It looks like we got Loop, we got Zao, we got Speedo. We got all the boys of HU. They're going to look for this invade here. They're going to get spotted out on this ward here. So Mirage is aware of it. Let's see what happens here. Are they just going to give him the red side jungle, or are we just going to get vision here? What's going to happen?
So this does go towards your point earlier of making sure that Speedo can get that advantage early. It doesn't look like they're going to continue and steal away the Raptors. Xyle is sticking around. He might go for it. But this could force that vertical jungling that we talked about, that we looked at from the last time that these two teams played. If Xyle can get complete control of that top half of the map. Instead, though, it looks like Mirage, they've set up their own 5-man gank. Harrisburg, they've sniffed this out. They know this is going on, but how's it going to turn out? Luke walks into a face check. 5-man brush. It's a death brush. The guy's going to come out, and he's already down. Speedo finds a trade kill. The Poppy has to flash over the wall just to stay alive. And now, the Senna, the Rise, they're trapped. 1 flash, 2 flash. Heal comes out too. Like Amaz has the Senna on the run. And that was great for Harrisburg. They got so many summoners there out at the end of that play after trading 1 for 1.
Yeah, HU was going for that play on the top side. They just went for vision. Mirage is like, okay, we're going to go take counter and take your red. But they walked over a ward. So HU knew all the members, all 4 members were there. So they knew the fight they were taking. It was a 5v4, and they got it. They got the kill. Most importantly, onto Speedo. Speedo got that kill. He's going to get zoned off from a little bit of the wave here, but he's going to start off with an advantage. He was back in time to get the creeps, and I believe he got almost all XP. He might have missed a minion or 2, but really good out of HU. That was a really good level 1 and start for them.
And this opens up so many options now for Xyle too, who didn't have to blow his flash. You know, neither did Loop or Speedo, who are like the main forms of engage in one of those ganks. So Xyle could go to either of those lanes and really try to put the pressure down. No summoners at all for the bottom lane of Mirage. You can see Hyami already down here. He didn't pick up that red buff level 1 either, so he has been put behind the tempo of the jungle curve, and Xyle's going to continue to steal camps away. There's no mana on Hyami, and Poppy's just dead at this point. Wixie, he's found 1 kill already. They're going to continue to force Hyami out. They are already suffocating him just 3 minutes in. He wants to stick around, but a flash forward from Loop, and Wixie finds his 2nd kill. Things are just falling apart for Mirage right now. Speedo is going to put the cherry on the top of the Sunday Dragoon. He has flash, but he just doesn't use it. He knows Speedo would just follow the flash. Micah Moss, he finds the knockup. Every single lane is going well for Harrisburg right now. Loop is just going to make sure Robbie Bob does not come back to lane. Wixie now in a 1v2. He might have been a bit too prideful. And he will go down. Slammed into the wall. Shut down going over to the center.
Ooh, and yet another little scrap fight breaking out here. Speedo and the Dragoon. Dragoon teleporting the top lane. We got Yama here, but Speedo's going to get forced to flash out of it. That was an insane chain of events there. That was another 2 minutes of fighting coming out of HU. Speedo alone was able to continue that lead that he got off that level 1, able to find the 1v1, and able to get the kill on Dragoon. Now, in the bot lane, you might be looking for a pick on Loop, but Loop should be okay. Xyle went straight from his bot side. Oh, Xyle was looking for another fight on Hyami here.
Hyami just trying to get something.
Flash.
Caught with his hand in the cookie jar. He dashed over the wall, but into the waiting arms of Moz. 1 more auto attack will do it. There it comes. And now Robbie Bob is joined with Speedo. He's going to turn right onto him. Thank you very much. I'll take that fight.
There's no ghost.
He flashes away, but Speedo now on a killing spree. 3-0. I think it's got to be said the biggest loser in all of these fights is Hyami. The man's on 12 CS 5 minutes in. He is trying to get just anything he can, but every time he finds a camp, it feels like all of HU are there to stop him.
Yeah. even in the bot lane, like there's so many fights breaking out. Another one here in the bot lane. Jonathan looking on something on Luke.
Luke gets ignited. Wixie's gonna dash back. He finds the kill. He just has too much damage. Level 4. And you can see that counter pick with the Poppy is not working out at all. And now they might be setting up for the dive. Moz over the wall. Luke, he goes in first. Ooh, doesn't actually drop the aggro. It was Moz that held that one. And so no members will drop. Harrisburg. I spoke too soon. Dragoon. Cross map is able to pick that one up. Now Kiami, he's looking for the cleanup. Like a Moz. He has the flash available. Wixie, no heal. Kiami is very weak right now. Just a single long sword for his AD inventory. And they will back off from that play. Harrisburg now 2,000 gold.
Every time I'm trying to break down a fight, another one just happens. There's a lot of things that happened this game so far from HU that were really, really good. One, that level 1 invade worked out very well from them. They were able to get that level 1 fight rather onto the bot lane in that red side. After that, Xyle went into the top side of the map, not the bot side or the blue side of Mirage, and was able to find another fight versus him and pick up more kills and more advantages for his bot lane and himself. After that, another fight broke out, this time in the blue side from Harrisburg, and that turned into another kill and more advantages for HU, gifted by Mirage. Oh, thought something else was going to break out here, but they're just fighting over Mr. Krabs. Hyome is going to be able to pick that one up. The dragon is spawned. We got an Ocean Drake for the first one, so we won't see the Ocean Soul coming out this game. As Xyle and Luke look like they want to maybe pressure this advantage here and maybe go for a dive. Xyle's level 6, and Hyome's level 4.
Yeah, this is what I've been talking about. It's ridiculous how much they've been able to bully Kiami. And historically, this has been the main carry for Mirage, so Harrisburg, they, pun intended, they have the perfect storm going on for them right now. Speedo is starting to take a little bit of poke there in the top side as Dragoon has finished his Sheen. Let's see if he is sitting on... Yeah, he has 1,400 gold in inventory, so as soon as he goes back and spends that, he will be A-okay in that lane again. But now, Harrisburg, they go into the mid game with a massive advantage, and they can kind of do whatever they want right now. You can see Xyle, the 1v1. He has the ultimate though. He's gonna run straight into Dragoon. Doesn't matter if he's that far up. He's still gonna go down. The turret shot will eventually finish him off. And right as I'm saying he can do whatever he wants, he does finally get punished. Kiami can take
also in
a breather.
Now too.
Like Amaz is now the one, he flashes away, but the route warp is there, and it's going to be a shutdown. Big swing as Harrisburg makes a string of mistakes here. It looks like they just kept sending members in to save each other, but they were lining up for the slaughter.
Yeah, Xyle, unfortunately, he was getting pincered from the top laner, Hyome in his own jungle, as well as Robbie Bob coming up behind him. Very unfortunate situation he was in. I feel like he should have took that red buff and kind of went out, but he went for even further, trying to get the Krugs. And then Moz as well, he walked up further than he should have there after Xyle was already dead. I think he just kind of call that play dead, call it quits, back out of there. But he walked up into the tri-bush, got caught with his pants down, trying to clear that pink ward, blows his flash, and still dies from it. And now that leads to Mirage being able to pick up this Rift Herald, and that might be able to get them sway some more gold in their favor if they're able to get some tower plates, if not the first tower here.
Yeah. Now that Harrisburg has gotten themselves a lead, they've checked off the first box of this composition, right? Get the gold in your pocket. But the next check mark is you have to turn that into something. Turn that into towers, into objectives. So far, it's 10 minutes into the game. Harrisburg just now looking at the first Ocean Dragon. We'll see if Mirage decides to contest this one at all, but I mean, they haven't been really able to get many plates, any towers. They've gotten one plate in the top side. I would like to see them start to turn up that tempo, that aggression, and turn this, what it is now a 2,000 gold lead at the 10-minute mark into 4,000, 6,000. Start snowballing your advantage, because you can't let this game slip away from you. There are no more chances.
Yeah, you're also playing against a little bit of a clock here too, right? If you're not able to take your advantages and compile them even more, eventually Mirage is going to catch up to you, and they're going to scale very well. But as we talked about it, Ichi's looking to play off a dive here in the bot lane. They got Xyle and Moz here zoning them off the tower. They look like they're going to try to get plates.
Ooh, Jonathan not finding that stun against the wall. That was the trigger that Mirage was waiting for. They even committed Dragoon's ultimate. And right there, that's a lot of pressure now because Speedo can now just sit here in this top side and know that he can pressure that Gangplank. Not have to worry about teleporting master pressure. The knockup from onto Robbie Bob, a big chunk of damage, but Robbie Bob is able to get that phase rush and get out of there.
Yeah, Moz almost got the solo kill there. When Vel'Koz is able to stack up those 3 fragments, knowledge fragments are they? Something like that. When he's able to get all 3 of those little triangles into one really big triangle, he starts doing true damage with his abilities. And that combo he did that was able to do that, so that's why Robbie Bob got melted a lot there. He doesn't have any MR yet. Once Moss picks up more AP, he starts getting more penetration. If he's able to find those combos like that, he's just going to be able to one-shot them. So Moss already has an advantage. He's up a kill. He's up a little bit CS. They're actually pretty dead even in CS here. So Moss is still in a good position to carry this game and help support and lead his team to victory here.
Yeah, across the board, Harrisburg's gold lead is very spread out. Their largest being, of course, Speedo, who's about 600 gold up at this point. But that is the story for, most of the players, other than the mid lane, which is nearly dead even. You can see a 500 or more gold advantage for Speedo, Xyle, and Wixie. At this point, all the 3 carries. Isn't that convenient?
Yeah, that's very convenient. The gold is where you want it. It's in the pockets of each person that is able to carry the game, to put the game on their shoulders if they need to. I really like what Xyle's doing here this game. He's not playing toward the top side at all. He's letting Speedo just have that 1v1 versus Dragoon, and he's playing very heavily into his top side here. Ooh, he's getting picked off.
Yeah, he just got deleted. They've already found 1 kill back. But like a Moz, he's now in trouble. Senna just does so much damage.
With the teleport.
Only 1 teleport being charged. Speedo, he's looking for the solo kill, but he gets slammed. The flash to follow. He's now on a rampage. Like a Moz finds some poke, but in the end of it all, it is a 1-for-2. Harrisburg come out on top of that thanks to Speedo, who's hunting down another one. Harrisburg will also get time to whittle away at this bot lane turret.
Yeah, Xyle was in quite the situation there. Ooh, is Moss finding another little combo. He got caught out there through the pop. He got hit into a wall and was able to get just bursted out by the Graves as well through the Q and the R. Graves does a lot of front-loaded damage there. But Moz was able to find a very good knockup WQ combo onto both the Poppy, and the ult was able to follow out through Diamante. Speedo looks for another 1v1 against Dragoon.
I like how he jukes out the barrel to start this one off. Doesn't have the dominance available. So he's not able to finish that one off, but he does pull out the cannon barrage. That's pretty big for Harrisburg. Dragoon will have to use that teleport if he wants to impact the fight in any way, and Dragon is spawning here in just under a minute. It is the teleport advantage for Mirage, but once again, 2,000 gold lead here for HU.
Yeah, we got the dragon. We got the dragon and the Rift Herald here spawning.
Yami turns around for a chunk of damage. Moz has to flash away. And HU, they're on the back foot here, but Moz finds the knockup. Whoa. If you had any question about his Vel'Koz at the start of this game, man, they are gone now. He is performing so well. And that's probably the 3rd or 4th, really meaningful knockup into chunk of damage that I've seen him get this game. And that buys a lot of space for Harrisburg to now take control of whatever objective they choose. It looks like it's going to be the Dragon as they shove out mid and start posturing around that river.
I believe it's like a Moz. I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure, though, that he used to be not a one-trick, but he used to play a lot of Vel'Koz. I believe that's like a Moz that does play this champion a lot. It might be one of his secret pocket picks, but that really is going to lead them into being able to pick up the 2nd Earth Drake here. And now, Leaf is looking for a stun on Heon, man. His team's there to back him up. Moz
just being annoyed at this point, but like a Moss that's way too far forward. The chunk, the damage is enough. The kill goes over to Hiami, and now Harrisburg. Wixie is running away. Loop blocks a lot of damage there. Wixie gets one, but is traded back. Loop has to flash out. Robbie Bob, he has his number. He's chasing him down. Hiami has wrapped around as well. Speedo is here.
Oh, Speedo.
Can he find the cleanup? So much damage. It's hard to actually turn on to that setup, but the Dominus buys him the health that he needs. And he finds that kill. Harrisburg, that was I believe at the end of it all, a 3 for 2. They do come out on top once again. Dragoon is going to stay up here on his island and take down that turret, but the Dragon goes over to the storm.
Yeah, Speedo, he's on his own island in the top lane versus Dragoon, but he keeps leaving it. I really like that. He is able to fight Dragoon, but he's taking his lead that he has and he's giving it to the other team. Oh, he's spreading his advantage across the board to his teammates. He's using the advantage that he has and he's helping his team. He's not just going for the brute force 1v1, me side lane, me top laner. He's a team player this game, and he's spreading that. He's taking his advantage he has, and he's bringing it elsewhere. I said like 6 times already. So, but I really like what he's doing. He has a teleport, and then he even for that fight, he walked from the top lane all the way down. Another iffy fight, iffy positioning rather from like a Maz, where he was positioned without having flash available. But it ended up turning around when Speedo came, and he was able to bait out Hiame and Robbie Bobby to keep following him with the dominance available, and they were able just to nuke Hiame, and then they were able to pick up the Drake finally. So now they have a 2-0 Drake lead, and we're gonna have a Cloud Soul. Bummer. I wish it was Infernal. It would have been a little more spicy of a game, but still really good.
Always feels bad when you can't get that Infernal Soul. But Herald gonna be started up here, and the Cloud is still pretty effective, especially on Speedo there. I think is going to be the biggest benefactor if Harrisburg can pick up that soul, because you pop that dominance and then you can just run straight at the center. You don't have to worry about your dash, your movement skills being blocked by the Poppy, because you just get so much move speed. You just walk at him. Now though, Speedo, he might be caught in a 1v2. Realm Warp going to be channeled. Also, the Cutlass going to slow him down, but he's just too damn fast. Hiami will pick up some camps, and Herald will be popped in the mid lane.
Yeah, even the Cloud Soul is out too on the Lilia.
Speedo
looking for the 2v1.
He's come back around. He's angry. They tried to find a kill onto him. Backup has arrived. Loop and Zyle are here to turn it around. The teleport is immediately going to be channeled. And Loop has to be on the tree. Slam into the wall. The damage is enough, and he's going to go down. Now Robbie Bob, he has blood in his eyes. He's going to find a shutdown on his Speedo too. Maz throws out the ultimate, but it's just not enough to find the kill onto the Poppy. Mirage starting to bite back in this game. 2 kills going over to their mid lane.
Unfortunate. I really thought that was going to be a really good fight coming in for HU there. I thought they were going to be able to get those picks there. But Dragoon teleported in, and it really turned the tide of the fight for them. Wixie and Maz weren't really able to be there quite as soon as they hoped to be. So a little unfortunate there, but HU is still in a decent driving position. They did give some gold back. They got that shutdown on to Robbie Bobby. Robbie Bobby got a 1K shutdown? 1K gold shutdown? Yes, a 1K gold shutdown. So that's huge for Robbie Bobby. He's a player that is able to take games and carry them himself. So we've seen him on the Yone, and Rise is another one of those characters that's going to scale very well into the late game and do an insane amount of damage. So he's definitely going to be able to carry this game and hopefully for Mirage, pull them back from this deficit that they're currently in and put them back into this game. The towers are sitting 2-1 apiece in favor of HU, and HU is up about 1,000 gold, a little over 1,000 gold. Still very possible for Mirage to come back with the gold lead if they get another tower and a couple more kills.
Yeah, and you can see all that shutdown gold that Robbie Bob got. He was able to get his Seraphs now, which is fully upgraded. He also has 8 stacks on that Rod of Ages, so just 2 more minutes, and I mean, he's, at all intents and purposes, going to be completely online as that Rise. Your next breakpoint, you're just looking at that big Rabadon's death cap potentially to start to pump those numbers up. But if you cannot, actually land your skill shots onto this guy and chunk this Rise out, he's just going to start tearing through what little front line there is. None of these members really want to build tanky. Speedo even is going to be building mainly armor, if anything, because he wants to be in that 1v1 against Dragoon. So whatever target Robbie Bob decides to set his sights on isn't going to last very long.
No, he's going to be able to shred them. Shred the entire front line from HQ. If we look over, I want to take a quick gander at Senna's stacks. So far, she has 38 stacks. She has 25 extra range, some extra damage. So she is as well scaling up. The next Drake is spawning in 6 seconds, and Mirage has a lot of very good control over it. There's a few wards in the bot side for HU. Speedo has his teleport, and he has a very good flank ward here. That pink ward in the blue side in Mirage's blue side.
Here
and
it
that
comes. He
teleport is
called
coming
it
out
out.
on top of it.
He's looking for it. He's already in the back line, but Mirage has sniffed this out. They immediately turn on
Huge
him
ult
over
coming in
the
here.
wall. Mods is able to find an ult that forces Mirage back, and now Speedo is going to recollapse. The Dragon already down to 2,000 HP. Are they just going to go for it? Mirage do pick it up. Zyle has to flash out of the pick, and Luke, he's taking up what he can. Wixie, a great ultimate there in the pit, is able to find him 2 kills. He now is going to flash away to safety. Zyle does fall. Harrisburg is on full retreat. They've picked up the kills, but now they have to get out alive. Realm Orb going to be channeled, and Robbie Bob will run down the Vel'Koz. Senna will eventually shut down Wixie as well, and it started off so good for Harrisburg, but Mirage, Robbie Bob specifically, was able to turn that one around. They get the Dragon. They're going to run straight to that Baron.
Yeah, they set their eyes on Baron there. That fight looked really good from HU, but it was that teleport was spotted out very soon after it was channeled from Mirage, so they able just to put all their sights onto him, and I kind of blew the element of surprise from them from Speedo. But
Hang
still,
on, Speedo might try to stop this. There is no jungler here, so they can actually turn this one around. Loop is able to ultimate in, and Speedo, he doesn't have the dominance, and Senna just a ridiculous amount of damage. Harrisburg, they never actually reset the Baron. Hiyami has joined now, but the teleport has come through. There's the GLP to slow down the squad. Baron is finally reset. Great knock-up onto Hiyami, and the wilting Lullaby is just going to find one. Zyle face checking into the brush. Mirage is so low right now. Senna trying to heal up who she can. Harrisburg, they have no vision. But Mirage, they have no health. They have the element of surprise, but that's about it. And Harrisburg successfully stopped the Baron.
Yeah, Speedo played it really well. He died, unfortunate, but what he did most importantly, he was able to stop that Baron from happening. And he was able to get a shutdown back into his own pockets that Robbie Bowie stole initially from him. So even more gold going into Speedo's pocket. He's going to be picking up the Death Stance. That's what he's going towards. He's at a very strong point between the Black Cleaver and the Bork. Once he hits that Death Stance, he's going to be a very hard crocodile to kill. So I want to see HU play for those item spikes coming out there as well. There's nothing really on the map to take. There's Baron, but it's still kind of early to do that. There's no way you can really take the Baron without a skirmish happening. The next Drake is spawning in 2.5 minutes, so HU can kind of chill and play towards that. That's what I'd like to see them play for. All tier 1s are out of play. They already got all of them, so HU should just be looking to push the side waves in, start getting more, move their ward line up into the side of Mirage, and play through that silent of Speedo too. I'd like to see them shadow him a bit and hopefully collapse on to Speedo and shadow him and get another advantage that way to help Speedo.
Robbie Bob has picked up the Righteous Glory here in this game. It's going to make him a lot harder to actually take down. And when you think about the threats that he is facing, it's typically either Speedo or, maybe even Loop or Wixie that is diving on him and trying to kill him. So that's going to offer him a lot of safety as well as just being able to be that point of engage for his squad. He can run at that priority target, and we've already talked about how quickly he shreds through them once he can land that CC. So Robbie Bob, he's building for the 1v9. But he does also have Wixie, who is slowly but surely been becoming a very dangerous threat for the Storm. Has that Mirror Mana upgraded now, as well as the Yomu's Ghost Blade. Some safety with the Quicksilver Sash, but especially with the Glacial Augment, he has been kiting these fights incredibly well. It is spotted out. There's still that pink ward in the back of the pit, so I don't expect Harrisburg to be able to do this. But it is one of those situational awareness checks. However, it's warded again, so...
It is warded, but you see Hyame and Robbie Bob in the bot lane, and they don't have teleports on either of those champions. They do have the Realm Warp, so I'd like to see HU kind of put more pressure onto that Baron since they have the members there, and they're just going to bleed out this tier 2 tower. So HU, they need to do something here. They can't just let this tier 2 tower fall for nothing, and unfortunately, that's what they're doing. They should have been trying to capitalize on something. They should have been pushing mid more, trying to find a pick onto the bot lane for Mirage, or even just pressuring the Baron to make Hyame and Robbie Bob run back and not lose out on a tower for free that Mirage was able to pick up.
Yeah, and you could see them starting to posture around that Baron, but just the fact that it was still sitting on that ward, it's still warded actually. Don't know if it's still that pink or if there is just a regular ward on it now. Mirage maybe expecting that Harrisburg might look for the Baron. Oh, they realize that the Dragon's coming through. This is spotted out from Harrisburg. They have a blue ward in the pit, but can they even get there fast enough? Baron already down to half HP. Mirage Gates is so fast. Speedo has already popped the Dominus. Mirage are going to get the Baron, but can they get out? Speedo is on the flank. He's a big, hungry crocodile here, and already he's dead. Hyame charging forward. Harrisburg, the health bar's just dropping. Wixie pops the ultimate, but it doesn't hit anything. Mirage, what a brilliant play.
That's a 1000 IQ play right there. I thought they were setting up a death push, and I mean, that's kind of weird. I don't think HG is going to walk up into the red side of the jungle with the Drake spawning. But they used the Realm Warp to get into the pit, and instead of HU just giving them the Baron and taking the Dragon to put them on themselves on Soul Point, they decided to go fight them and try to stop the Baron, but it didn't work out for them. Thankfully, HU is able to still pick up that Soul Point as another fight's breaking out. Hyame looking on the Amaz.
And if they go down here, it just becomes that much worse. The Blast Cone to buy a little bit of distance, but like Amaz is able to get out safely. And yeah, Harrisburg now are in a pretty precarious situation. They get that Soul Point, but we now have a couple of minutes where Mirage can really start to close that gold gap. And the timer is ticking down, Johnny. You've got these big ticket items being completed across the board. 3 items now for both the mid and bot lane. Even the Gangplank has finished those 2 very expensive items in the Essence Reaver and the Trinity Force. There isn't too much longer that Harrisburg have to really close this one out.
Midnight is coming closer and closer, and time is ticking. They already brought the gold lead back. They're up 3K for Mirage, and now they're going to be able to use this Baron to pressure these side lanes and get this last tier 2 tower. That's what they're looking for, and that's what Mirage should be playing for. It's the last tier 2 tower. They can't really push inhibs right now. They should just get this little cash box that's sitting right there and then move on to another objective here, and which they are doing, which I like to see coming out of Mirage.
Yep. Ooh, yummy. Just barely escaping that knock up there. Harrisburg most likely going to let this tower fall. This is not the hill that they want to die on, as they have more important structures to defend, and they're at least able to keep the base alive. I think that is the most important thing for the Storm here. Have they maybe found Hyame during a back timer? Can they chase him down, him in the Senna? The Shroud is going to be enough to get them out safely.
Yeah, it's using quite an interesting spot now. The pendulum definitely swung very hard and very fast back into the favor of Mirage off that initial teleport flank coming in, and that dragon fight that happened almost 10-15 minutes ago at this point. That's when it started to swing back in the favor of Mirage, and then that insanely brilliant Baron play that they made as well really solidified that lead that they started to get control back. HU is now in a harder spot than they were before. it's still possible for them. They still have decent team fight through Maz and the sleep from Xyle. They can definitely get picks. And I'm not sure exactly what HU wants to do here. If you're HU in this situation, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish?
It's starting to get really difficult to answer that question because as the game goes on, it feels like all of the opponents are just going to outscale HU in every position. I think you said it best. They have to find these picks. They have to somehow be able to take down Robbie Bob or the Senna. But I mean, how do you do that when, you know, Robbie Bob's got the Seraph Shield, you've got a QSS completed on Senna. Speedo, he's looking for his 1v1. Robbie Bob chose this fight. He threw down this gauntlet. Does pop the ghost to try to run away, and Speedo just is getting kited. The rest of the team show up, but Robbie Bob puts the final nail in the coffin. Harrisburg lose their most fed member here as Hiami takes a big chunk of damage himself. Harrisburg doing what they can now in a 4v5. Dragoon is free pushing in that top lane. He has the Cannon Barrage and TP available.
Robbie Bob is he's definitely a zoomer, dude. Between the phaser rush,
Hiami goes forward, does force Xyle back. You can see even in the jungle now, where at the beginning of this game, remember Hiami was like 5 camps and 3 levels down. He is now the one up a level, up 10 CS. He's, you know, got that 3rd item completed. He is very much well and alive in this game.
One good sleep that comes out of Xyle here, I definitely think it can help swing the fight. But even then, it's going to be very hard. Hiame, he has the cleanse, Dragoon has his orange, and even Senna has a QSS. So that sleep, I'd like to see it be very impactful, but I think it's going to be very hard for him to pull off since there's all those debuffs coming in from Mirage. And the Baron is spawning here in 40 seconds, and then the Soul Point is spawning in 20 seconds. If I was Mirage, I definitely think it's okay to trade Baron for Soul, as Dragoon's teleporting into the top side here. Might be looking for a fight. Just looking to cut off the wave.
They're trying to cut the wave, but they're caught out on the wrong side of the map. The Sun's just going to find one Cannon Barrage, though, and split Harrisburg up. Loop is all on his own right now. He's 1v4, and Robbie Bob is finding a kill. They do take down the Senna, though, and now into the back line. Wixie finds a huge ultimate. The triple kill for Wixie, and Robbie Bob is the last remaining member of Mirage alive. Harrisburg, when they needed it most, their backs are against the wall, and they find the fight. Wixie comes up huge.
Yeah, Loop was a sacrificial lamb right there. We thought that fight was going to go pretty drastically wrong for HU, but while Robbie Bob and everybody else was kind of looking their eyes towards Loop, Wixie and friends just blew up Senna, and were able to find 2 kills in the backline there, and then from there they were able just to close out that fight really easily. Now they're going to pick up the Cloud, and now they're going to pick up the Baron. HU, they're going to get the mid tower as well, since they're minions, they had good wave control there. HU is now in a very good spot, in a much better spot. I don't want to say a good spot. They're in a lot better position than they were 3 minutes ago between that fight and all those objectives that they just picked up. The game is definitely on a knife's edge right now. The next team fight, I think, decides the game, and HU being able to pick up this Cloud Soul is really going to be beneficial for them.
Yeah, Harrisburg in a very strong position in the immediate sense with the Baron and the Cloud Soul, but those items are really starting to stack up on the side of Mirage. The Infinity Edge finished for Dragoon here. You have the Rapid Fire Cannon now for the Senna. That Zeal item almost upgraded for the Graves. Harrisburg have to find a push, and they have to find it soon. They're looking for potentially a pick here in the bottom lane. All ultimates available for the Storm, but they don't want to pull the trigger quite yet. Loop, he's thinking about it.
He has the Grand Skyfall if he wants to look for something, but it looks like HU is going to fall back. Mirage is... They can just wait this Baron out, right? Like, they're not the ones on the timer. HUs are ones on the timer. So Mirage can just chill back, let HU catch some waves, and then Mirage is happy to catch those waves right back. And then once that Baron is down, maybe look to fight at this Elder that's coming up in 4 minutes if they want the game to extend that long. HU is going to push their resources up through the mid lane. They're going to put Speedo on the side lane and start pressuring that, pressuring multiple points at once, which I like. Speedo does have the teleport, so he's able to join the team fight if and when it breaks out. But for now, he's going to continue to push on the spot side. And HU is going to pressure down this mid inhibitor tower and hopefully look for a decent fight for them. But they have to be careful for those barrels. That barrel combo that you just saw right there, they have to be careful. If Dragoon is sitting in the fog of war and he gets a good barrel combo off, I called it out early in Champs, like, if he finds a good barrel onto Maz or Wixie, that's going to be an absolute game changer. That's going to be the go button that they're going to look for as well. If he's able to chunk them, he's going to throw his ult down on top of them, slow them, and they're going to really be able just to clean up that fight. So they really have
here, he's found the flank, but he was sniffed out here. He's already down to a few hundred HP. The ultimate going to come through and put him to sleep. But the cannon barrage used just to buy him a little bit of space. Harrisburg, that is a big win for them in a team fight. They only commit the Lilia ultimate. Remember, this is a Cloud Soul, so that's already coming close to halfway back up. They got the Graves and Gangplank ultimate out of that. Let's see if they can turn that into anything. A little bit left on this Baron. Xyle alone, though, and he might be in a 1v3. He goes golden immediately. Rest of Harrisburg has said, good luck, Loop. We're going to try to take what we can and trade for that kill. They get one tower. Definitely seems pretty big for Mirage here. They're able to stop a lot of that Baron's pressure.
Thankfully, there's no global objectives that are up that Xyle isn't able to be there for. So that's the saving grace in that situation. But now it's going to be a 5-on-4 for another 30 seconds. And Mirage is knocking on the front door.
They are. Lots of wave clear coming through from Maz. And Miami almost going down. Big heals coming through from the Senna to keep him alive. And Mirage is going to pick up what they can, go into the jungle, steal away these camps, try to prevent as much gold from going over to Harrisburg as possible. We see a mostly full build Wixie here, because he's just waiting for that Mortal Reminder upgrade, but still waiting on a couple of items for Maz. Working on that death cap, it looks like, at the moment.
Yeah, and if you look, Robbie Bob already has his death cap. Oh, as Luke walks into the bush.
And it does use that E to buy a lot of damage. A flash forward to the sun, but he goes down immediately. Harrisburg, Wixie. Oh my god, the healing from Wixie. He does so much damage, but is it going to be enough to turn around the fight? Robbie Bob is still alive, and that means that Mirage can win the fight. Xyle does what he can. Robbie Bob's sticking. He's burning. He's dead. Xyle is able to find the shutdown, and that leaves just Maz against the Senna and the Poppy. Big chunks of damage. He doesn't find the knockup, though. He needs to win this fight. Like a Maz, he doesn't get knocked into the wall, but there's so much CC there. Senna gets the Glacial Augment slow off. And like a Maz, he will just barely walk away. The death timers are long, but Loop is going to be up in just a few seconds. The game continues for now, Johnny.
Wow. I thought that was a kind of a rundown there. I didn't see that Speedo, I believe he teleported there in that situation. And he had that flank coming in from the top river. So Wixie, with his ult, just pumped out so much damage. He has that death stance, and Bloodthirster too, so he's able just to heal an insane amount through the lifesteal and live long enough for him and Speedo to chunk him out. Loop in that situation, a sacrificial lamb again. He flashed him, he threw his body on the line, and it really helped HU there. Getting that kill on Robbie Bob too at that last second, that take of damage, it's really also a saving grace in that situation, because if Robbie Bob was up, I definitely think Maz dies, and then Mirage is in a very good position. Yeah.
But this is the Elder Dragon. This is the objective. At Riot basically put into the game to say, all right, you've been playing long enough, please just end the game. This doesn't matter how much you are down. If you can get an Elder Dragon, you have a very real chance of just running it down there and winning the game. Speedo, though, he's found his way on top of Senna. The QSS already popped, and Speedo chunked down to just a few hundred HP. He's essentially out of the fight. He has to go find something to lifesteal off, or just go back to base completely. That is actually really big for Mirage. Senna can heal them up, but there's no such healing.
Look at
for
Dragoon now.
Speedo. Yeah, Dragoon's just gonna take the inhibitor here. He's forcing Harrisburg to do something. You either go for the dragon right now, or you have to go defend him. Luke is already fallen though. As Robbie Bob does so much damage. Speedo had to TP to stop Dragoon. Or rather, he stopped Dragoon's TP there. And Harrisburg, they're still battling for this Elder Dragon. Big ultimate from Moz is a lot of damage, and Wixie is taking down the Poppy. But Robbie Bob has found the jungler. Speedo, the top laner goes down. Wixie, big ult, but he's taken down before the lifesteal can come through. And that might be the final nail in the coffin for Harrisburg. Like a Moz, what do you have left in the tank? Can you be a hero today? No! The Secure comes through. Hiyami's smite rings true. And Mirage, they get the Elder Dragon. They're going to run straight to this Baron. And you got to think that that is the last hurrah for Harrisburg. You got to think that Mirage can close this out.
Yeah, between the Baron and the Elder buff, I definitely think Mirage is going to be able to close this game out pretty cleanly. They might reset, spend that gold, and then get right back on the map. The death timers are still going on for Speedo and Wixie here. Zal's going to spawn in a few seconds, so the game is paused momentarily, and it'll pick back up once everyone's spawned up and on the map again. I'm not sure what HU has to do here, and I feel like their timer has ticked. It's 40 minutes in. Dragoon has his items. He has the Leandries. He has that IE and the Trinity Force and Essence Reaver. Robbie Bob, he's had that death cap for a while now. He was able to pick up a Void Staff and a Spellbinder, so he has an insane amount. He doesn't even have boots anymore. He sold his boots and picked up
85 AP on that round.
Oh, man. And he's still going to be able to zoom around between the Registry and his phase rush and Spellbinder too.
Lots
Lots of movement speed. So he's going to be zooming around. He doesn't even need the boots. I think this is, like you said, it's definitely the coffin's closed, and they just have to put the final nail into it. They just got to hammer it down here.
Robbie Bob seems like the type of player that would enjoy playing Jhin in Earth. You just stack as much attack speed as you can. You're a race car zooming around the map. It's kind of the build that he's gone for here. If he pops, those two items in conjunction with the Ghost, with a lot of the damage being either skill shot based for Harrisburg or based on getting close to your opponent so you can, get off that CC. It becomes really difficult to lock down that Rise with all the mobility that he has. Only 3 deaths. Harrisburg have to find some way to take him down if they want any hope here. But Zyle, he's already being slowed down. Remember, there's the Elder Dragon. He most certainly falls here. The execute from Robbie Bob. And HU, their final stand, starts a member down. This is a just incredibly beefed up squad from Mirage. It would take nothing short from a miracle on top of the mistake
and
for Harrisburg to turn this one around, but they're gonna try. Damn it, Robbie Bob is dead. Can Harrisburg do it? Speedo has a lot of damage. He's looking for the Senna. Can he find him too? Dragoon might just want to go for the end, but Senna flashes away. She gets the QSS, she gets the heals, but Harrisburg is doing it. It's a double for Wixie. It's a triple for Wixie. Can he get the quadra? It's a quadra for Wixie, and Harrisburg stay alive. Do you believe in miracles? Because the storm does.
They're teleporting top. They can end the game here.
They want to win the game right now. There's 30 seconds left on Robbie Bob. Can Harrisburg push fast enough? Speedo is just going to take up the tower. They want to protect the minions. Make sure the backdoor bonus stays inactive. It is 3 members here, 15 seconds. Remember, Robbie Bob is the most fed member. He has a chance of 1v3ing this. There is 10 seconds left on the clock. Tick, tick, tick. Harrisburg, 1 Nexus turret is down. 1 second left. Robbie Bob has respawned, but the Nexus is exposed. The Nexus is falling, and we're setting up Silver Scrapes. The script has come true. Harrisburg take us to a game 3. Oh my God.
You called it. You said there had to be a miracle there. And
wow.
The miracle came. The Nexus was open. All Mirage had to do was just bang it a couple times. But Moss with the insane ult
onto Robbie Bob. With all that movement speed Robbie Bob had, he couldn't get out of that ultimate, and he blew up and just got melted down. Moss had a hot 1,000-degree knife. Robbie Bob was the butter, and he just sliced right through him nice and easy. The wave in the top lane was in the perfect position. Speedo and Moss had their teleports ready. They teleported top, and they're just able to close out the game. I'm flabbergasted, dude. That my jaw is on the floor. I thought that was it. I thought the clock had struck midnight, but the clock struck midnight for Mirage. You said they had to have a miracle, and you got a miracle.
That is just insane. I mean, everything went right there for Harrisburg. Not only Moz, I mean, we got to start there. You talked about it. Massive ultimate. He chunks out Robbie Bob, is able to take him down to kill range, and that's your main damage threat. But Speedo as well was able to completely zone away the Senna, force the flash and the QSS out of her instantly, and was still able to put enough pressure to keep her occupied. So that's both damage threats dealt with. At that point, it's just cleanup for Harrisburg. Oh my God. It's crazy. We're going to be heading to Silver Scrapes. Taking one look at the damage graphs here.
Moss.
Look at that, Moz. 45,000 damage in a 44-minute game. My God. We've been talking about Speedo as being the main carry for this squad. Moz is showing us something different today. He ate his Wheaties this morning, and he's ready to play. We're going to head to a short break, though, as these players get geared up for Game 3. We will be here in Silver Scrapes during the break, so stay tuned, enjoy the music, and do or die. Harrisburg versus Mirage, one more game to decide who gets to fight for that playoff spot. Welcome back, Storm fans. It's game number 3. What could be the very last game of the season for the Storm. Hopefully not, though, as they are 1 away after a miracle turnaround in game number 2 from taking down Mirage, getting revenge from their last meetup, and at least securing themselves a tiebreaker for playoffs. We do have to wait for Mirage to play TBA, a week 1 game that was rescheduled. But 3 wins will at least get you with a foot in the door here.
Yeah, and as we're getting right into this draft, 2 unique picks so far coming in for HU. Speedo on a Vladimir and Xylon on Nadali. Nadali is an early game jungler. She likes to get those advantages early. Vladimir is a late scaling carry. So if Speedo is able to get an early lead, that's just going to help him overall too. So they're drafting a little bit more for scaling through that Vladimir instead of picking up the Renekton, which I think was banned out anyway. So really, really interesting here. I like that.
I actually just took a look at the standings currently, and the match between Mirage and TBA was played. Mirage was able to win it 2-0. That puts them at 3-2, tied for first with Illinois State University. So if Harrisburg wins this game, they will have a tiebreaker against Mirage for that second place spot. Illinois, because of the head-to-head records, I do believe has locked first place. So yeah, we're playing Mirage right here for the chance to play them again in another best of 3 to fight for that playoff spot. Mirage, though, obviously want to finish it here. They don't want to extend this to a potentially 6-game series. And I'm excited about this pick for Robbie Bob specifically. Harrisburg has been very reliant in playing around their pick potential, especially Loop on the Pantheon. Has been one of the main form engages. He's been buying a lot of space for the team, and the Poppy was supposed to be the answer to that in game number 2. Didn't quite work out. Jonathan wasn't able to stop a lot of the engages. We saw the Pantheon be very effective, but when you throw a Poppy plus a Vigar into the mix, that is now 2 giant AoE ways to stop anybody from diving into your back line. And when you throw a Senna on top of that mix, it's gonna be very difficult once again to kill Mirage. It seems like a recurring theme with their compositions. They're so damn survivable. They're not essentially super tanky, as they only have that 1 dedicated tank, but they've still got a lot of utility.
Yeah, interesting draft too. When they were playing through the draft through the other pro draft, when they were playing through that, the Pantheon got picked early. So HU actually flexed that Pantheon pick into the mid lane onto Leica Maz, and they ended up picking Leona later. Maz, again, he's a player that plays sacrificing. He sacrifices his lane and plays through other lanes. Pantheon is another champion that's able to do that, but it's through a different avenue. Instead of being a tanky, I'm here to protect you, it's I'm coming in, we're going to kill this guy right now. Through that Grand Skyfall, he also has a lot of pressure in lane and a lot of gank set up here too as well with Pantheon. But Robbie Bob coming in with that Vigor, he's going to be able to kind of slow that down and kind of keep like a Maz at a arm's reach away. But if Robbie Bob does catch a spear and get stunned up through like a Maz, he could definitely get popped. So again, I'd like to see HU play through the mid lane and the bot lane here to get them ahead. Speedo, he's going to end up scaling. He scales very well into the late game. Once he gets a couple items, once he hits level 9, he's able to get that Q max. He becomes very strong. It's a melee matchup for him, so I'm assuming that matchup's going to be very nice and rather easy. He's going to be able to dodge all the ganks through his blood pool, and a lot of that CC and the baby cage and things like that. He's going to be able to go into a pool of blood and just go right through it. So even these late game team fights, they're going to be very, very interesting to watch and see how they break out. I believe this first time Dragoon is playing the set, and this set at least, Robbie Bob had it in the game 1.
So I want to see how he plays it in comparison to Robbie Bob. I'm assuming he's going to go more of a tanky rather than damage like Robbie Bob did. But I really like each team's composition. They're playing to some of their strengths, and now it's just duking out and see how it's going to happen, how it's going to break down.
Yep. One last time, we're going to send it off to the intermission. It all comes down to this. Harrisburg fighting to keep their playoff dreams alive. Mirage fighting just to clinch that #2 seed. Harrisburg bought this with their miracle comeback in Game 2. Will it all be worth it? We're about to find out. Don't go anywhere. Game 3 is coming right at you.
Oh, wait.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to game number 3, Harrisburg versus Mirage. It all comes down to this. One last chance for Harrisburg to prove their mettle and fight for their chance to make it to the playoffs. Only the top 2 in each group move on. Mirage is currently in possession of that #2 spot, and Harrisburg, if they win this game, will force a tiebreaker for it.
Yeah, level 1 coming out here. It looks like it's going to be another standard level 1 coming in for both teams. Line of scrimmages have been drawn. Pings are coming out down on the red side, though. Looking like they want to invade this red buff, or at least guard for it.
Yeah, we have seen the late invade be a very popular strat for Harrisburg. And the level 1 is pretty strong. You've got a lot of CC between Loop and like a Moz. But the ward there is going to spot out any late invades, so have to be careful. Hyami, anyway, is starting on the top side, so there wouldn't even be any fight to have. They are going to pop the sweeper. They don't see the ward, though. So they will be under the assumption that they were not spotted, but the information will be available for Mirage. I expect Hiyami to probably be going to trade this red buff away from Xyle, which, you know, sets Harrisburg in that position with the vertical jungling, but away from where they usually have a wall slam. Chunks out Wixie early, but the dash right back, flash for flash in the bottom lane. Things are heating up already. Level 1. Big chunks of health bars taken out of both the Senna and the Poppy. Wixie trading back a lot of HP too. Already, again, summoner spells burnt almost across the board. You have flashes for the supports, but that's about it.
Yep. You both carries here, they don't have any summoner spells. They don't have the flashes, they don't have the heals. So it should be a nice, easy gank. Very gankable. It's in a very gankable situation. Oh, as the tower dive comes out for HU.
First blood there for the Poppy. Definitely not feeling good there. It's a 1-for-1 trade at the end of it all. But Wixie staying alive means he gets to shove in that wave instead of does not pick up that farm. So it's going to lead to an advantage. 2 CS only for this Senna. No teleport to speak of.
Yeah, they're going to be able to... Jonathan is able to pick up a freeze here. Oh, Yame is looking for a gank on the Speedo. He should be okay. He leveled up the blood pool. Now Zhao's going to be able to clear his top side and team about his day. But yeah, really good dive here coming in for HU. Setting the Senna behind. There's a freeze going on, so they can't keep the wave there if they wish to. Excuse me. But that wave is going to start really building up here. So actually, overall, that's just a huge win for Wixie in the bot lane, as Dragoon and Speedo are trading out a little bit.
Yep, Speedo does have the sustain set as well. Lots of health regen with that Doran shield in his passive. But this is, you know, starting off fairly strong for Harrisburg. They've got the priority on the bottom side of the map. Not a lane we see them play through too often, but Wixie has always been able to take leads that he's given and turn them into waves. There's a big wave coming into him on top of the CS lead he already has. Depending on how much he picks up here, he freezes in front of his turret, which essentially means that entire next wave is going to die very quickly too. Senna will have to walk up if she wants to get much of it. And they're calling down Xyle here, so Senna forced to walk up, just hits level 3. Good block there on the dive coming in, and now Hiyami is here for the counter gank. Xyle, he flashes, goes over the wall, but Hiyami is there to take him down with the flash follow. It's 1 kill over to Mirage. It's jungle for jungle archery.
Second time this series where Hiyame is in a really good position to counter gank. Hiyame just read the gank. He knew it was going to happen. He was there to back up his bot lane, and they were able to get the kill out on Xyle. And now they're looking in the mid lane.
Jonathan is starting to get better at blocking those engages. Like a Moz, one more Q will take him down. The auto with the ignite, the turret shot isn't going to be enough. He's burning, but he's not going to fall. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, it's the Senna who is going to go down. Wixie has picked up a kill. Will Poppy be able to finish him off? He's single-digit HP. He gets the shield. He's got to be careful going in. The double as the wall slam was not able to connect. Wixie off to a great start. Now Speedo, he goes in the pool. Spear does not land. Speedo, he has the damage. Dragoon will just walk away from this one, sidestepping absolutely everything.
Yeah, you brought it up earlier. When Wixie's able to get an advantage, he's really able to self-sufficiently, along with the sign of loop, take that lead and continue to grow that lead. And that's what they did there. Straight up 2v2. Ooh, Speedo gets pulled on the tower, gets the bull, he's going to be able to get out. But yeah, in that 2v2, they were able to win that. Wixie played it very well. He spaced out perfectly so that Poppy wasn't able to kill him. Almost died to the tackle and grapple, and but he ended up making it out with 1 HP, and then the Triumph came in clutch and killed him up. And now he has a 2-0 lead against the Senna, but again, Senna's going to scale infinitively, and it's gonna be a little scary.
Tackle and grapple, I like that one. Do you mind if I use that?
Oh, no, absolutely. When the old Poppy, the beautiful Poppy, me and my friends used to play, and they called it tackle and grapple. It's like when she would tackle you and then like dash to you and then like hit you or something. They always called it tackle and grapple. But yeah, you can use it.
That's a great one. We'll see what Mirage decides to do here. It's about a 1,000 gold lead for Harrisburg. Most of that focus in the bot lane. You can see Wixie already heading down. That first dragon on the table will be a Cloud. So no Cloud Soul this game. Hip hip hooray.
Means we're gonna get a Mountain Soul.
Ooh. We had one of those in game 1, I do believe. So I think statistically we're due for that Ocean or Infernal. And what better ending to game number 3 could we have?
I don't think that's how statistics work. It's still
Definitely. I took a math class.
They're
Okay? I took
independent- they're
statistics,
independent
okay?
events.
No. I want my Infernal and the facts that I chose support it. Speedo, though, he takes a big chunk of damage. He goes into the pool, but it's too late. The damage has been done. Iami. It's all too easy of a cleanup. Harrisburg going to get the dragon back for themselves, but that's just not the start that Speedo was looking for. He has TP, so he doesn't lose too much off that play. It's not the end of the world, just dropping 1 kill to the set.
The kill ended up going on Hyame, and he's definitely a person that's going to be able to take that advantage and really use it well. Zyle's going to steal this red buff back, and like you said, and you mentioned, they were able to get the Cloud Dragon. I wasn't sure if that's a misplay in the top lane from Speedo. I don't know if he had the pool earlier or if it was coming off cooldown. I feel like he shouldn't have died there. If he did have pool was on cooldown, then unfortunate, but I'd have to go back and watch and check the cooldowns.
It'd also be interesting to know if he had vision on Hyami. He might have just been saving the pool and thinking like, okay, I'm going to save it for this trade so I have it later on. But by the time he gets chunked out, the Nidalee's Lilia's already there, and he's like, oh crap, maybe I should have done that. Regardless, though, he does fall down, does burn his flash, so he has to be a bit more cautious in that lane. Hyami has now made his way down to the bot side to give his bot lane a little bit of reprieve from this constant pressure. And Harrisburg, looks like Zyle is heading towards his red buff, his Raptors. They could look to set up the Rift Heralds here. It's about the only objective on the map.
I'd like to see HU go for that. It is warded, but that's currently the only objective. You know that Hyame is on the bot side of the map. So he's definitely able to come up and test that Rift Herald, so they might not go for it exactly. But HU, they have a really strong game state right now. The top lane is pretty even in the sense of CS. Zyle is up in farm, but he's down a kill. So that gold. He's still up in gold. He's up to 300 gold still. So that's in a good lane. That's in a good spot for him. And then Zyle, not Zyle, I'm sorry. Like a Maz in the mid lane is able to grow his own advantage. He's up about a wave, a little over a wave. And then again in the bot lane. Wixie is up 2 kills. He's up 10 CS. Ooh, Speedo with the flash.
It doesn't look like he has the pool available, but he does dodge the swirling seed, and so he can't be ulted there by Hyami. They were setting up the dive too. Jonathan has roamed all the way up to the top lane. Speedo is still dangerously low, and it looks like Mirage will just try to turn that into a Herald. But you can see Wixie roaming up. Harrisburg's not going to give this up without a fight. Cage is going to come down. It does find 2 members, specifically Zyle. Big chunk of damage onto the jungler. He has to be a lot more careful. But red buff plus the heal built into the kit means that Zyle can stay pretty healthy. Speedo, he flashes. He does go into the England pool, and he is able to stay alive for now. Big CC chains coming through from Lupin like a Maz, and a double kill for Zyle as Harrisburg cleans up. Now Robbie Bob, he's going to get stunned up. There's not a lot of follow-up here yet. And yeah, he's just going to walk away. There's a lot of damage coming through. Lycamaz has the flash, should he choose to use it. But it looks like it's just be the team fight win plus the Herald for Harrisburg. They're now almost 3,000 gold ahead at 10 minutes.
Yeah, really good from HU. They sent their entire bot lane up there while Mirage only sent Jonathan. So the center down in the bot lane is going to be able to pick up 2 plates, even out that CS lead a little bit more, get a little bit closer to that. But Wixie, he was able to pick up a couple more assists, so he's still stacked in the gold. Zyle picked up 2 of the kills there, which is really good. And they picked up the Rift Herald here, which they're going to be able to use and drop into a lane in the next 2 minutes or so and pick up even more plates. Speedo is still in a good position while he is behind. Ooh,
Oh man,
Wixie
they
looks like
have
he might
tagged
get.
Wixie. No ultimate for the Lilia. That means
All
that they have
alone.
to just use the Poppy. It's not going to matter. They don't need
Bad.
the CC. There's just too much damage. And Harrisburg, yeah, they have some members in the area. If Yami gets a bit too greedy for this ward and takes a spear to the face, it could be an engage. But no spear will come, and does seem like Mirage are able to get away with murder this time.
Ooh,
Oh, no.
the next Drake, 30 seconds.
All right, Speedo,
There's an
you got to
open
use
Drake.
the pool early. He gets pulled, takes that damage. There comes the heal. Showstopper coming through. The
Gas
pool
flash.
is just barely going to get him out with the flash. I think I tend to be in the same camp with you. It does feel like Speedo is holding on to the Sanguine pool for a long time. And there is a bit of a mind game to be played there. You know, the set can run at you and not use the face breaker right away and try to bait out that Sanguine pool. But Speedo is holding it after the face breaker, after getting punched in the face, and after the showstopper. At that point, what are you even avoiding with the pool? Well, he's doing the best he can here in this lane, but starting to fall down in CS. Harrisburg on the other side of the map, though, they're still picking up steam. They get their second dragon, and now they're just posturing around this
Probably
turret.
jump the rift here, get the first tower. Yeah. Oh, and you get your wish. We have an Inferno Tree. Statistical analysis.
I did the math.
Audio.
It was guaranteed.
You carried the one. Where I forgot.
Now Speedo,
Speedo getting
he's
bullied
trying to
again.
get away here. Harrisburg are going to take that first tower on the bot side, and Mirage looking to do something up top. But slippery vampire, Speedo is able to stay safe.
For how much I feel like Speedo's, getting beat up a bit, he's still not far behind. He's 100 gold behind, but again, he's Vladimir. Vladimir skills so well into the late game and later in the mid game, so I'm not really concerned about it. He's down now, but it's Speedo. I definitely think he's going to be able to come back. And HU is not putting a lot of resources into Speedo. I feel like this entire series, HU has always played to the top side, and looks like they might try to dive him here. It's definitely possible.
Yep, he has the ult. He doesn't have the ultimate available quite yet. There goes the Sanguine pool, but he's already put to sleep, and Yami's going to pick up that kill. Nobody even around to give him any help. He has teleport when he does respawn. Doesn't look like Mirage. They don't want anything with that either. Although Loop and like Amaz aren't close, Mirage don't know that. And with the semi-global from the Pantheon, they don't feel safe enough to stick around and try to get that turret. Which is good
Yeah.
for Harrisburg.
Speedo's really bleeding out here, huh?
0-2-2, but like you
Well,
said, I mean, he's not falling too
don't like
far
that turret?
behind. It's, I get it. Okay.
Come on, man. He's a vampire. He sucks blood. He's bleeding out a little bit of it. I'm
funny
sure
joke.
people in the chat got a hoot out of that one.
Yeah, I'm sure Twitch chat has a much better sense of humor than I do. But only about 600 gold down now for Speedo, which all things considered, having died twice, the lane could be a lot worse.
Absolutely, and even if you look on the other side of the map, what HU has accomplished for what they sacrificed out of Speedo, I would take that every day of the week. Speedo's definitely a player that's going to be able to come back, and as I mentioned before, Vladimir's going to scale. So Speedo is chilling. Speedo's fine. He's going to sit in the side lane this entire time. He doesn't have to worry about carrying the game right now. He has to worry about carrying the game in a little bit. And currently, HU is doing a very, very good job of setting up the other lanes right now to carry him into the late game where Vladimir can really shine. They were able to get the first tower with all of the plays, all the fixings down in bottom lane. And little fights and advantages that they're gaining as well. They're up 3k right now, and 2 Drakes too. That's going to push them closer to getting that soul point. And that win condition of getting Inferno Soul, which is going to be absolutely huge in this game. If Zal is able to land a spear, the spear is going to do a bunch of damage.
It
As
already
well
does
as
a bunch of
triple
damage. You can see Zyle 3-1-1. He has been really racking up the resources here in this game. Currently 1,000 gold up over Hiyami. And he has the Dark Seal in inventory. Now, that doesn't normally, in my experience, turn into a Magi's for the Nidalee, but it certainly could, right? If he's able to get up those stacks. So we'll have to keep an eye on Zyle in these fights and how much damage he's able to output. Harrisburg also moving towards, like you said, since they've gotten those first 2 dragons, they can start to force these next couple of fights around the soul point and around the soul itself. Moss takes a little bit of damage here, a little bit of poke. Second Herald spawning in just 10 seconds here. But both squads kind of sitting on their back legs. They're relaxing. They're waiting for those items to come through. We have finished at least 1 item for every non-support in the game. So I would expect, even Jonathan is able to finish that Righteous Glory, which is going to be really good for him to start these engages off and start these team fights. But the question is, where is this team fight going to break out? Is it going to be around this Rift Herald that Harrisburg has started up? Hyami's checking it here with the seed, but already down to about half HP. It's spotted out. Hyami walking in. The spear's starting to land, though, in Loop. He's foregone the objective, and he's up here shadowing like a Moz. Has the Solar Flare available, but Harrisburg, now Loop. He might have gotten a little bit too far forward.
Too close to the sun, some would say.
Ooh, another crack out of Johnny Vincent. This man's on fire. Knows his stuff about League of Legends. He's making vampire jokes, sun order jokes. I don't know what they call the worshippers of the sun. But Harrisburg, I mean, they don't get that Herald. They go straight down to the Dragon. They pick that up instead. They're now on Soul Point, 18 minutes in.
Oh, I'm sorry. At 18 minutes and they're on Soul Point, and it's Infernal. They're in a very good position. They weren't able to get the Rift. They got pushed off it, but they're able to come back and get that objective if they want to in the next probably minute-ish before the Baron comes up. And Shelly number 2, what do you call her? Him, her? The second one?
I forgot what her name was.
Oh.
I just know that I have been told Sharon, yes. By many reputable sources that Sharon is Shelly's sister.
All right, well Sharon is up for another 40 seconds, and it looks like HU's going to go for it. Only other objective on the map is really that.
Yeah, they're looking for the pick here. Teleport going to be channeled. Jonathan goes in. Big chunk of damage onto Zyle, but what can they find afterwards? Dragoon already down to under half HP. Speedo is here now. He has the Hemo Plague available. He's looking for a target. Mirage have just completely zoned him off, though. He did blow the flash. Didn't able to find anything for it. Hyami finds the Wilting Lullaby onto the Vladimir. Robbie Bob finds the kill as well. Great K just locks them all in. Now the teleport's being channeled. It's a 1-for-2 trade. Harrisburg up a man, but here comes the set to try to turn things around. Big damage from Robbie Bob as Wixie goes down, cutting off that ultimate. And Harrisburg, they're slinking away. Low health bars on both sides. And it does seem to be an even trade. Neither team picks up the objective. Will time out as Baron will be spawning.
Yeah, from the position that Mirage is in currently, I definitely think that's an overall win for them. They were able to get a couple more kills. Well, 1 kill or 2 kills. They were to pick up a couple kills. HU was able to pick up a couple kills as well. Wixie there flashed in when he was ulting and just got popped right away. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to sustain and heal up a bit there. But I think overall, if you're Mirage, you would take that. You stopped HU from getting the Rift, and you got a couple kills under your belt. And now what they want to fight for, and what they're going to have to fight for, most importantly, is this Infernal Soul that's spawning in 2.5 minutes.
Just think, Johnny, if somehow, and obviously this is the worst case scenario, Mirage are able to pick up the next 4 dragons, a Vigar, infinitely stacking Vigar and Senna with 4 Infernal Dragons would be absolutely insanity. And I hope we never have to see it.
You already spoke it into existence, man.
No. Harrisburg would never let that happen.
I feel like you said something similar to that a few weeks ago, and then it happened.
Nothing bad happened. It was completely fine. Everybody lived happily ever after.
I think the storm would beg to differ.
But It was the 2 kills that goes over to Robbie Bob in those last fights. I think that is noteworthy. He's going the Glacial Augment route straight into the utility, which I think is smart against the playstyle that Harrisburg has and against the diving composition they so often like to play. That AoE kind of zone control. You saw how effective it was just with Speedo. He tried to flash in for that ultimate. Speaking of, there's the early pool. He's learning. But he flashes in, tries to get the ultimate, instant cage, instant slows. He just basically gets stuck in those choke points. Robbie Bob's going to be very effective at shutting those out and controlling those tight corner fights.
Absolutely. With that cage, it's going to be a very good fight a lot of the time for Mirage to take is those jungle skirmishes. They just have so much ability to just protect their carries with the baby cage, with the shield that Poppy brings up so that people can't come into it. Dragoon's punchy fist thing that does a bunch of true damage down the center. Yame playing on the Lilia. Lilia has so much good AoE ability, and if she can keep people condensed in a tight corridor, she's just going to do so much damage to everyone. So I think that's where the fights are they're gonna try to look for the fights.
Oh, here's the Death Brush. They found Xyle, and shut down goes to the pockets of Yami. Beautiful.
Sleepy Time coming out too.
Oh, they look to continue the engage. There's the slow from the Glacial Augment. Boop. He's pretty tanky. Looks like Harrisburg are just going to give up this tower.
Yeah, HU, I don't think they need to fight this, right? Just, you lost your tower. Unfortunately, Xyle got picked. Don't fight for the tower and die. Don't die for that. There's no reason to die for that. Just let Mirage take what they earned there with that pick. Let them get the Drake. Let them get the tower. You have Speedo in the top lane, pushing and getting more pressure down on the tier 2 tower and picking up more farm under his belt. He's now up 100 CS, and he's probably very close to getting this death cap. He has double rods in his pockets right now, so it's okay. You're at soul point. You can survive another 5 minutes and give it another go. Give it the good old college try. So, oops, Speedo though. No sleepy time available.
In a 1v2, Sue to turn into a 1v3. Hemoplague goes out. Xyle has showed up to give his top laner some support. A big heal, but it just not enough. Yami has the damage. And now with the flash, the slam into the wall. Xyle, he's tick burning. The heal might be enough to save him. And he will live just barely from that fight. Mirage very nearly walking away with 2. They secure 1. And Baron on the table. Mirage is starting to pick up a lot of these skirmishes in a row. Harrisburg really needs to start to wrestle this one back into their control. They have some time. You know, we've got scaling in the composition, but still, when you're looking down a double infinite scaling composition, once again, we're against the clock.
Absolutely. I don't know what the normal Nidalee jungle build is. Probably I'd assume it's more of like just a damage one-shot assassin build. But Xyle is building it as a support. He has the Ardent Sensor. He has the Athene's Unholy Grail. So he's building it more of a supportive Nidalee, which seems...
It isn't unseen.
I understand.
A lot of Nidalees, even in competitive play, run at least the Athene's Holy Grail in their builds, just because her heals become so strong with just a little bit of heal power, and she can kind of fit that secondary supportive role. You know, you've got the engaged support, you can still get the heals from the Nidalee. The Ardent Sensor is definitely taking it a step further. That is really saying to me that Xyle knows that he's going to be playing the backhand of this game. He wants to just be buffing up Wixie, who is going to be the player to take Harrisburg to victory. You know, they want to play through either him or Speed.
I want to see, there's already an Executioner coming out of the Senna. Thank God, because there's just an insane amount of healing. I would like to see at least another Executioner come out for Dragoon here on the set. I don't think one is going to be enough. Morello is possible, but I'm pretty sure Morello is not the most gold efficient item. But you have the Vladimir that just heals so much. You have the Nidalee that we were talking about that has the 2 support items that's going to heal his teammates so much. And then not the Sen, I'm sorry, Samira, that naturally just builds the Bloodthirster and the Death's Dance, and it's going to heal a insane amount as well. So I definitely think Executioner is a good thing to do. I think a lot of time for a lot of people don't like counter building that often. They rather wait and get their damage items and just try to stat check and just fight it out. When a lot of the time I think building counter building early is extremely useful. It's very beneficial. So I'd like to see another execution get picked up, but one is still good. I'm glad that they were able to realize that. These guys are very good players, so I'm not surprised that they were able to notice that, hey, we should grab an executioners. And then Robbie Bob picking up the Soul Stealer here.
He's feeling spicy. He knows that he is strong right now, and Robbie Bob historically has been a very consistent win condition for this squad. Pressure's on. He's feeling like he can shoulder that burden. Now Hyami might be looking for loop. Finds a little bit of damage. Chucking spears is Zyle. But he gets slowed down. He has to run away. Slammed into the wall, and that is him just gone. Here comes Luke, or Legamaz into the back line. He blows up the Senna, and maybe he has the damage to turn this one around. But he's going to pop the ultimate. But Drowsy and To Sleep goes Legamaz. Luke, rather, is falling down. Wixie gets off his second ultimate of the fight and will go down as Robbie Bob is now on a killing spree. He's dodging, he's weaving, and Legamaz can't close the gap. He has those double buffs, but he's not able to get there quick enough. Speedo also running in. But Mirage will route through their bottom jungle. A team fight win for them. They trade 2 for 3 in Harrisburg's jungle.
Again, if you're behind or in not an ideal spot, taking fights like that and winning fights like that is definitely a good thing for you. When you're behind and you take a fight and you come out even or a little bit ahead, that's really good. Robbie Bob teleports back in.
The Drake is spawned though.
Ghosts out.
Speedo is caught out here by this cage. Hyami never backed after that last fight. So he is still under half HP. No flash, no ultimate. But the rest of the team has only just joined. Legamaz has already burnt that QSS. And the dragon is under fire here. Looking for the scuttle. It's secured by Harrisburg. That's going to give them a little bit of vision, a little bit of mobility there in that pit. And they have to be careful. Hyami's still waiting for this ultimate to come back up. Just a few more seconds.
This is for Inferno Soul, too. This is
Harrisburg,
would be the fourth dragon.
They don't lose a lot by letting this one go, but they would love to pick it up and stop that stacking as soon as they can. Robbie Bob throws down the cage. There's the Poppy ultimate. It launches out in Italy, and that means that the dragon's going to go over to Mirage. Here comes the fight. Robbie Bob, great cage there, but Speedo has already found 1 kill. Luke is going to be the first one traded back. Wixie, massive ultimate there. He dashes through the cave as well. The second ult finds him a triple kill, and Wixie takes the fight into his own hands. They might have gotten the dragon, but Harrisburg, they win the fight, and they're heading for that Baron.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zal just got completely zoned out. That baby cage came down from Robbie Bob, so Zal couldn't really have an angle to come in. And then Jonathan with the hammer swing knocks Zal up and away, so the smite wasn't even a factor in that. It was just a free smite for Hyami. But they did win the after fight. Wixie, again, he's popping off. He was able to dash in. He got his first ult off, did an insane amount of damage, and then dashed again, and then was able to pick up the second ultimate, and then finish off that fight with 2 kills, 3 kills. So Wixie feeling really good.
And he does now get that Bloodthirster. He didn't go for any lifesteal early on. We saw him in his last game go for that Bloodthirster under Death Stance. This time it was full crit, the IE into the Phantom Dancer. So he was built to carry that fight. He had no survivability. When he jumped into the backline, his only thought was to pump out as much DPS as humanly possible. And it worked for him. But now, 6-3-7, 300 gold bounty on his head. We see double QSSs here for Maz and Wixie. These carries, they're on board and they're ready to go. Death cap for Speedo too.
Yeah, the death cap finally does come in for Speedo. I'm not sure what items, components he has that he's building towards currently. He has an array.
Morello, looks like. Almost. Actually, not quite sure. The Morello would be the Oblivion, but meanwhile, He's dead. That's we'll get to find out soon enough. Is maybe he'll just buy it straight up here. Only has 500 in inventory. Like Amaz is going to find a little bit of a stun here, but I mean, good collapse there from Mirage to find Speedo.
Really
He's been caught out a lot this game.
Yeah, unfortunately, Speedo, he's just, I think, flat out just getting caught. He's in an unfortunate place at an unfortunate time, and now it looks like it's Moz is starting to get caught out.
Speaking of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, Moz in a 1v4. Oh man, first Speedo, then Moz. Things starting on a downward trend here for Harrisburg. They do have the Baron buff though. They're looking to break open the base. It would be big for them. They get the turret. Now can they get out? A lot of CC burnt. So shouldn't have anywhere to go. He's going to be the sacrificial lamb and buy Wixie and Zyle a free escape. Harrisburg will successfully get the rest of the members out.
Yeah. Off the couple of picks that they got, but HU did turn those 2 picks into 2 towers. They were able to crack open that base. They didn't get the inhibitor, but they were able to get both towers. So now that inhibitor's open just to take for free if another fight does go in the favor of HU and they're close enough. It's already 30 minutes into this game. The fights that are breaking out here shortly are going to very much swing the pendulum into one side, and that's going to really be the favorite to win here. This game. Soul Point, Harrisburg is still on it at 1 minute and 20 seconds. What I want to see happen from Harrisburg here, I want to see Zyle not get picked less than a minute before the Drake spawn. The past 2 Drakes, that's kind of where it happened when he dies and he gets chunked out. I want HU to go into the bottom side of Mirage's jungle. I want them to set up a ward line. I want them to get vision. They definitely have the pressure. There's no towers in the mid lane for Mirage. Harrisburg should be able to take that mid wave, push it, shove it up, and then go through the jungle as a 4-man unit and ward and clear out wards. That's what Harrisburg should be doing, and that's what I want to see them do. You see that wave is already pushed up, and now they're going in here and they're setting up a ward line. This is what they need to do.
They're tuning in. They're listening. They know exactly what they should be doing, and that setup can make all the difference. With Zyle the difference between throwing Nidalee spears into a warded area and an unwarded area is night and day. Mirage here, though, they are going to be pushing up and trying to find some sort of vision, some sort of information. As Zyle just shooting fish in a barrel here. Nothing is connected so far, and they have moved their ward line up.
But there's still that really good flank ward. Look at that ward. There's a ward on the red side bush, and Speedo's sitting in base. He has such a good flank ward here that this might blow the fight entirely. If they're able to bait Mirage in a little bit, Speedo was sitting down. He's waiting for that ward to come through.
I'm wondering if he's waiting for the gold to finish his item. There's the comes the teleport. He's channeling in. He's zooming into the back line. Big ultimate going to come through. Mirage, rightfully, they take a step back. That engage didn't actually turn out much for Harrisburg University. And now Mirage, they're looking for the re-engage. Here comes the spooky ghost. A little bit of chip damage coming down. The cage is going to block off Loop. It's going to find Zyle. He's chunked out. He's dead. Zyle is down, and Hiami is on a killing spree. This is looking good. A start from Mirage, but can Harrisburg mop it up? Wixie, big damage from the ultimate, but Hiami goes golden. Speedo's going to fall. It's just down to Wixie, but it's not enough. Mirage clean up the fight. They will take themselves to Soul Points. They tie this game up. They claw back from the deficit they were in. And Johnny, we have one hell of a final game on our hands.
You spoke it into existence. This is your fault.
This is not my fault. You said you didn't want Zyle to get picked off before the fight. He got picked up at the beginning of the fight. It's an improvement.
That was during the fight. He had a really good spear that ended up hitting the center and just chunked her for like half her HP. I wish HU followed up with that teleport. I feel like that teleport was in such an amazing position, and if Loop was able just to go in and engage with him and engage before, and I feel like that just would have been a one fight. You have the giant AoE solar flare to stun people and slow them. Just run at them, right? You have the Grand Skyfall. Have Moss come back and ult into them. Like, they're relatively grouped there. Like, just hit the go button. You have that amazing flank ward. I wish HU did more with that. But the fight itself broke down. Wixie wasn't able to pick up a lot of the kills. A lot of them were just 1 HP. They were very close to dying, and he just couldn't finish them off. So now the Baron's on the table. 3 Infernal Soul, 3 Infernal.
Oh my god, this one
Mirage?
goes down so fast. They have so much Baron damage here. It's going to go down before Harrisburg even gets close to it.
That's gone.
Yeah, Harrisburg, I mean, they're not really in a position to do much after the fight. Loop might be able to find an engage here. The cage goes down and doesn't hit anybody. Some spears landing, but Harrisburg, they find Dragoon. There's the sun. Loop's going to back up. Huge Poppy ultimate sends Zyle and Wixie out of the fight, and that buys so much space for Mirage. They're able to find Speedo. Wixie goes in. He's going to look for an ultimate, but he can't get anything off. Mirage running over the team fight. Double kill for Dragoon. The clean ace, 40 seconds on the death timers and a Baron. This is the game, Johnny Vincent. Harrisburg, they threw it all into that play, and it went disastrously.
Yeah, Jonathan, he hit such a good ultimate. He knocked back Wixie, he knocked back Zyle. That's a lot of the damage coming in for HU. And unfortunately, that's the game. That's how it's ending. Mirage coming in. They're going to stomp the dreams of Harrisburg. They're going to close this game out on the back foot of picking up 3 Drakes back to back to back to back. And they win it. Harrisburg is out of contention for getting out of groups and continuing their run here at Upsurge's event.
Definitely unfortunate, especially since we came so close. To come from that miracle comeback in game number 2 to just being right there in game number 3. They had Wixie ahead. They were on that soul point. But once again, Robbie Bob plays foul to Harrisburg's plan. This player is so damn good, and whether it's on the Yone, whether it's on the Vigar, he just always seems to turn up and perform when it really matters. So credit where credit's due. Mirage played a fantastic game today, and we wish them the best of luck going on, but they do secure their 2nd place victory here. I think they might actually be in contention for 1st even. I'd have to go and check those, but yeah, it is unfortunate. Thankfully, that is not all that the Storm has in store for us this semester. We are entering the CSL. We're playing in CLOL this season. The first match was last Saturday. We will be having weekly matches with that as well. You should be able to have Zyle join me on the desk to bring more coverage of that later on this week. But for the UPL, like you said, our road is unfortunately finished.
Yeah, it was a really tough loss. I think that last game, they really got that miracle win on the game 2, where I definitely think Mirage was clear to win that one. But still, I think HU can be happy with this. We talked to Zyle last week, and Zyle said that they're not really this event. They said that they're not going to try to go into every event, and they're not trying to win every single event that they sign up for. What they're trying to do is they're trying to play good teams and try to improve. That's what he said. Every day to get better. And they've definitely improved from where they were at a couple weeks ago to now. I definitely think they've improved. Again, I definitely think this roster and this team have a lot of potential, and they can still grow and improve a lot. So even though this game was a very much a bummer to lose, it was definitely in the hands of Harrisburg, and they fumbled the ball. I still think they should be really proud of how they played. And going into CLOL, I think they're going to be a very strong team that is that's going to be just a really strong team, and they're going to be able to improve a lot more. So unfortunate loss for the Storm here. They bow out of Upsurge, but still should keep their chins up. Still should keep their heads high.
Yep, and we are going to be trying to chase down like a Moz there for an interview, see if we can get some of his insights there on the game. But in the meantime, it should also be noted that the CLOL games will be a different roster being played. They are fielding a bit of a change in their lineup just to make sure that they give everybody an equal chance at playing.
Absolutely. So we should have Moss here joining us in a few seconds and have a quick little brief interview and see how he feels after that, and see what their plans are to go into the next tournament into CLOL, the big event for most collegiate schools, and yeah.
Yep, definitely unfortunate. In the meantime, while we wait for the interview to come through, make sure you guys are following us on our socials if you want to stay up to date on everything the squad has going on. It's a lot of cool things right now. Our Overwatch squad is doing really well in the TESPA Invitational. It's very exciting. We don't have any streams for you there, but if you want to just stay up to date on how they're doing, how our league team is doing, what we have going on, make sure to follow us. We've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, we've got YouTube. We upload all of our VODs, interviews, that kind of stuff as well. And make sure to give our Twitch a follow as well so you can see when all the streams go live. Just waiting to see if we can get Moz in here. But
Oh,
go
if I
for
could
it.
real quick. Everyone that's in chat that's been tuning in weekly on these Tuesday nights
Oh,
to come
thank
and
you
watch
so
these
much.
games, thank you guys so much. You guys, we have an insane amount of viewership right now. The chat is always just constantly scrolling. There's a lot of people typing, a lot of support coming in for Loop. So if you guys stop by today, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate the support. It's really nice to see so many people in here watching our games, watching the Storms games, and participating with us. So shout out to you guys. It's more fun when there's a group of people watching rather than just talking into the void. So thank you guys for tuning in and taking time out of your day to watch the Storm. And hopefully the Storm will make you guys proud. I definitely am very proud of the Storm. I'm proud of the boys. I think they played very well, and I think they're going to improve more. So it's definitely nice having a team that you guys can root for. A little sad, but
Yeah, Harrisburg should keep their heads held high after that performance. Mirage is not an easy team to take down. This is a squad that has a long history of success in the amateur community, making deep runs at Scouting Ground circuit every single year. Going into this group, personally, I rated them at the top of this table. I was a bit blown away by how strong Illinois State University was. They were a bit of an X factor for me, but Mirage, I mean, Hiami and Robbie Bob, one of the best mid jungle duos in amateur. It's just they're just insanely solid, and we got to see that on display here today. So the fact that Harrisburg were able to take them to 3 games, were able to keep it competitive, and were able to do that twice in this season, really speaks volumes. So definitely should be proud of the boys. Looking forward to seeing what they can do in the future. And above everything, I was really glad to see Leica Moz step into his own today. Hopefully we get some more information from him. Still working on getting him in for the interview, but we got to see him step away from that stigma that we've been building around him of, hey, he's a supportive player. He's the Galio Urga. He's just a big, beefy meatball. Today, he was the damage dealer. Today, he was the carry right alongside Speedo and Wixie. He, especially in that game number 2, was a major threat.
yeah, Moss played insanely well today. Even the Storm as a whole, the team as a whole, they played a different style today. So I'm very happy for them. They played a different game and they played it well. Moss played 2 different champions we haven't seen him played so far. He played the Pantheon and then he played the Vel'Koz. And Vel'Koz was the reason that they won game 2 and pushed it into a game 3. That ult at the end that absolutely just shredded Robbie Bob. Huge damage. So Moss played insanely well today. Unfortunately, they weren't able to pick up the win again, but like Moss just played extremely well.
Definitely did. Hey, there we go. Thank you so much for joining us. Like a Moz here after
What's
that
up?
game. Unfortunate that you guys lost, but you still played incredibly well. We saw a bit of a shift from you today in the UPL, at least for the last couple weeks. We even seen you play a lot of the Galio, the Urgot, some of the more beefier characters that are in the mid lane. Today, we got to see a different look out of you. The Vel'Koz specifically, was that a plan for you guys going into this week? Were you trying to be more aggressive in these picks?
Well, since the season's now pretty much over for us, I'll like give you like the lowdown for what I've been doing. Mostly it's like the Galio you've been seeing, the Pantheon you've been seeing. A lot of those champs, like it's designed to just get through the early game and like look for lots of plays, pressure, and allow jungle to get ahead, right? But we have mages saved for counter pick if they're like picking stuff that's too greedy, you know? That's in game one, or no, it was game two, right? They banned the Oriana and the Syndra because both those do really well into the Rise, which they wanted to pick. However, they weren't prepared for the Vel'Koz, which I have as my third special counter pick, and people don't have a lot of mobility. As you can see, like there's a lot of potential to like catch people out in that game.
Absolutely, and you did a very good job of doing that. Solely you're the reason that you guys won that game off that fight on the Nexus at the last minute. So I kind of want to get like your thoughts on that very last few minutes of that game, right? They were breaking down the Nexus, you guys were about to lose, and then just a huge ultimate that just absolutely melted Robbie Bob. That was a very strong AP carry for their team. You're able to melt them, and then in the back line, Wixie and Speedo were able to clean up as well. Like what what was that like? What was going through you guys' head? Were you guys fighting just to fight? Did you think you had a chance of winning? Do you think you were gonna win the game there, or was it just we're gonna lose? Like just do our best to fight it out.
So personally, in that 4v5 situation at Nexus, right? So
Mm-hmm.
my whole entire situation is that I have to play around the Gangplank goal, right? It's gonna do a lot of damage to me, and I have
Yep.
to respect it. And my goal in fight is to do as much damage as possible, and Wooks will like clean up, right? So what's the solution to that if you're in your base? GP ulted me, but I'm sitting at a fountain, so like I can actually ignore the GP ult this time. All the other times I have to reposition around it, but for that fight specifically, I was able to do all my damage because I'm literally just ulting and doing all my damage inside the GP ult, but being healed up by Nexus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Wixie and Lawrence like hella popped off loop 2, and they ended up like cleaning up, and then that led us to just teleport top and end the game in that situation. I thought I had a chance the whole entire time, but the fact that they gave it to us was what we needed.
All right, last question here for you, Moz. What has this experience been like for you guys so far? Just to play an upsurge. I know you guys haven't been in the amateur scene for the last year or two, but now getting to play against a much wider pool of teams. How have you experienced it so far?
I'd say on average, the quality of teams in Upsurge, especially the league we're playing in, like the four different groups that they have, right? I would say a lot of those teams are very, very competitive. Not just like the collegiate schools like Maryville, Columbia, and ISU, as you could tell, like they were doing pretty well against us. But a lot of the amateur teams, like TVA, is a really good team, right? But Mirage, like both, both times we played against Mirage, we struggled against them. I'd say Mirage were like the closest games, but ISU we just couldn't like break their strategy. But Mirage was like the team that had like answers for us, and we had answers for them always. And those matches were by far the most competitive, and they're the most fun to play, especially when you win. But overall, it's just a much more competitive season because the only times in collegiate, at least for our region, that matches get close is like towards playoff stage, and all those matches matter. But we got knocked out the one year. Second year, there was like not even like a tournament because it got canceled early. But there's like there's less pressure until the very end for the main season, but there's a lot more pressure every single day for UPL.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Josh, for coming on and talking to us. And unfortunately, you guys weren't able to make it into playoffs, but you still played great. And I know we and a lot of the fans out there are proud of you. Is there anything else that you'd like to say as the stream ends, maybe to the teammates, the program, any of the fans watching?
Just that I appreciate like all the players on the team. I honestly think Luke playing on 150 ping is like something that deserves to be commented every
He
single
plays on
time.
50 ping?
He's a 150 ping player.
150 ping?
Oh,
Like in
150
these
ping player.
matches?
Like he's playing from Brazil, you know. He's our
Whoa.
boy
that's
from Brazil.
true.
Yeah, so
Very
I would
true.
just like to say that I don't know how Luke puts up with it because if I had to play at 150 ping, I would like lose it all like every single time. Like I don't know how I'm supposed to play any of the champs I play on 150 ping, and he makes it look effortless, you know?
Yeah, I I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
So
but everyone else too, right? Like everyone has their strengths. Like Lawrence, we play to him. Hope he carries. If not, we'll have his back. Wixie is very very young, and he's just he's doing his best to like learn all the things. He's got the hands. We're working on his brain, slowly molding him into a better player. And Zyl's turned a new leaf. Like a lot of the time, like people thought Zyl is like this tank jungler player only, and his pool is now widened up. Like he even pulled out the Nidalee today. Like
yeah.
everyone's got their own things that they're working on and doing well.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, thank you again for joining us. I think you guys played very well today. It was a very close series. just a coin flip away, very close. So yeah, thank you for spending time with us, and shout out to you guys. I'm very, very happy and proud of the ways you guys played.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, that is going to wrap it up for us here on the broadcast desk. Thank you to Josh, and thank you to the rest of the Storm for giving us a great show tonight. Make sure you guys are staying up to date on our socials once again, so you can have all the news of when we're coming back for more matches. The next one will be this Saturday, CSL. It'll be me, Caster Audio, and Zyle bring you guys coverage of that one. But for tonight, we are going to sign off. So we'll see you next time.
Sweet dreams.